Welcome, welcome. Hello, Murdoch. Thank you for joining us. He's the small dog in that camera. Good boy.
He chose to
And
hang
you
out with
guys,
me today.
it's cool you guys are here too, I guess.
Excuse me.
Is it really?
We're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, I'm
I
excited.
enjoy all you guys, blah blah blah.
Gosh, who wants to recap?
Streamworks, by the way.
Good. Okay.
Yay! I would, but there's no way. Oh no, we did session 25 last time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had traveled to that little monastery where Cashmere's uncle resides, the one who had trained him in all of his martial arts stuff. Gave us some place to rest. He caught up with his fam, and then the next day before he left, he asked us to help dig a well. Little did we know, we were disturbing the natural spirits that resided in the area, and we had to kill them. And kill them we did. Anything else of major import that happened in there before I move on?
I don't think so.
Yeah, just like some simple catching up and stuff like that. But anyway, we resided to Town, which is where Crim is from, and there's just birds, and more birds. An old friend of ours named Mag would have probably had PTSD from that. And yeah, and just everywhere they were like singing, they were chirping, they just would not shut the hell up. Despite being a bird himself, Turner did not quite feel at home there, but party kind of split up after a little bit after Crim had reconvened with his father. Turner went to the post office to check for any news about natural phenomenons, as well as acquired a letter from his friends.
Cool. Yeah. There's also some meeting of Crim's father, who is a bird, and some nightjar called Alve had talked about, oh, there's news from the west of dragonflyers or something. Cool. Music Areno, Activato.
Nice.
We pick up with Turner having just reconvened with you all, and I believe shared the contents of the letter, and you're welcome to refresh yourself on what it looks like out of game. I fixed that one typo. It's Layla, not Layla.
She doodles. Yeah, he kind of like reread it a couple of times just on the way back, and yeah, I just kind of went over the gist of what they had said. I figured I'd leave it open to others to ask questions or whatevs.
I'm trying to find where it is.
Okay, it's in images. Tad posted a PDF.
There we go.
Oh, sorry. I gotta read it.
Probably should have had it open at the beginning. Well,
I believe we ended last time off right after this was read. Is that right?
Oh, right.
Yeah, I put it up in Foundry as well, but there's a typo with the name.
Yeah, basically it was just to head to Karifi when we're ready, which doesn't really change our paths at all, just
kind of makes
gives
it more
us a
convenient.
bit of hint on what to expect. But right now the main thing for Town is that Crim wants to see his neighbors as requested by his father to do, like, just to, give thanks for literally saving his life, or funding the means to do so. And also check the library for potential info and clues. And then maybe check out his abode for potential clues he may have missed, since he didn't have any experience in that shit before, so who knows, there might be something to find. And then after that, they'd probably just spend the night to recover, give Huston time to sell silk, then we'd be on our way. That's the current plan. It could
That's a
change.
plan I can abide by. Also, arcade dodgeball. I never would have taken you for it, Turner.
Neither would I.
I think if I used my powers for arcane dodgeball, I'd be a bigger target.
Like, can we use magic stones? Does that count?
Please don't
no.
shoot people.
No, it actually uses a flaming sphere.
Oh, that's somehow worse.
Is that better in any way, shape, or form?
Turner kind of chuckles. They are significantly powered down, and they supply everyone who doesn't have the natural resistance or immunity to it with potions to make it a bit less heated.
How did Flaming Sphere break your arm?
Well, it was more my shoulder, but well, as you see, I have wings, and sometimes I fly. And when an object collides at you in midair.
Oh, so it was unrelated to dodgeball, I guess.
No, it was very related.
So wait, it's like a sport?
Flaming Sphere isn't a solid object, though.
It's solid if you compress it enough. I remember reading about it. That's how magic is sometimes.
Does this mean you played, Turner?
Yeah, my friend Cole, he's a cheetah like you, Wade. He was more or less the captain of the team, and he managed to talk me into giving it a try.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't as terrible as I thought it would be.
It must have been a close match. I expect those sorts of games to be a dead heat.
He just ignores that.
Great to see that, though. I didn't take you as an athlete.
Well, as I said, I did not see myself as one before. I'd given it a try, and, well, I can't pretend that I didn't enjoy the spotlight a little bit.
No, what is magic if not a substitute for strength? I think most of us know that quite well. Hey.
Crim laughs a little louder than he should have.
Cheetah's laugh.
You're being mildly harassed as you're talking in this busy area. Mostly the harassment is in the form of people saying, "Oh, hey, Crimson," or your old name as well. Like, "How are you doing? Tell us about your adventures. Like, why don't you come and join us for a drink? This cafe."
Sometimes Crim would look like he was about to humor it before probably someone else on the team would remind him that if he answered every single one, they'd be gone forever. But if it's a particularly close neighbor, he'd nod and he'd offer and he'd check with the others if they want to look around and study this area. That's probably where we could have shopping and stuff opportunities during all that downtime as they make their way to Crim's old street.
You're blessed with good folks. What community?
I guess when you turn into a dragon, it's pretty hard to not know about it, whether or not I was famous before. It's kind of weird to think about. I didn't really know I'd be that known after leaving for so long.
Well, some time passes then. Minutes, hours, up to you all, I suppose. It's maybe at first you're on edge, like, okay, where is this time anomaly? Where's the danger? But it becomes increasingly clear that there's not a crisis here, and the visit is quite pleasant and cozy, especially for you, Crim, seeing all your familiar town and townsfolk and people really interested in what's up with you. There's definitely some more weedly questions like, okay, really, how'd you do it, and what was required, and you gotta share the research, you got obligations, maybe some business folks trying to get deals out of you, but they're few and far between.
Grim kind of just nervously saying, I wish I remembered, but I think part of the price was forgetting.
Let me know if you want me to grab the on duty sign.
Oh, I don't think that'll work here.
Why are you wearing that, buddy?
The price was your intelligence, your unawakening.
It's a roleplay kink, I can't help it.
No.
Yeah, we'll have to buy a leash.
That was another price to be paid. You gained that.
Oh no.
So yeah, eventually, Crim will ask, in terms of checking for clues, would that be my place or the library?
Let's split up, gang.
What would we learn from your home?
Well,
That's where you did it, right?
Yeah, it was. I kind of lived in my room for the most part. I don't mean that in like a sassy way. I barely could walk after a while out of that place. So most of the clues, if they weren't burned to ash, would still be there or in nearby storage areas if they, kept some of the supplies in other rooms, because eventually it got pretty cluttered. Aside from that, most of the books and research I got came from the library. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure how they got some of those books, but they just seem to have good connections. Libraries are kind of magical like that, so.
So you
Also
mentioned.
Go on.
Go ahead. You first, Beagle.
There's also those posters we saw of advertising. What's it again? Like advertising the same service, like dragons, or it's been a while.
I believe that Nightjar lady.
Yeah, that was for something that's happening like near Quirifi, not here.
Ah, gotcha.
You haven't seen them yet, if they exist.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, there are no posters of the sort here.
Yeah, look, a poster for music competition. Look, he was pointing at unrelated posters.
Oh, I can't really sing anymore, unfortunately.
So, Crim, you mentioned that there was some sort of additional price you had to pay, but you cannot recall what it was. Would your family perhaps know what this was, or would it just be you?
That's what I was thinking, but Dad seemed busy, so maybe you could ask tonight when he's back from his work. He might have known. I might have mumbled it to him. Never told me about it if I did. Although, I don't know. I feel like they would have told me.
They're not.
There might also be clues somewhere. I can't really be sure.
Is it possible that additional price is, I don't know, like your old body? Could that be what it refers to?
Well, with all due respect to Crim, I don't know how much an ailing body would be worth. It's the soul that's more important, I think, but...
It's a little nostalgic, I suppose, but...
I mean, if you want to summon undead, you could.
Why don't we, let's not speculate on this too hard.
Yes, I mean, perhaps the price was 50 gold. 50 gold.
Oh, that'd be so small compared to the other materials I had to get. Okay, well, if we're going to be talking to my dad and stuff later tonight, I guess the library first. It's not too far of a walk.
Well,
Right.
I suppose you don't need a souvenir from this place.
Okay. Moments later, after some pleasant strolls down music-themed lanes, you arrive at a library without any name on it, but it's obvious what it is because in the big windows you can see rows upon rows, shelves upon shelves of books in this two-floor place.
I'm guessing like 2/3 of it is sheet music.
Well,
And
is that kind of racist?
somehow it is quiet here. Are libraries always this quiet, or is it just especially quiet because outside it's a madhouse? I don't know.
Turner will kind of look around. Is there like some type of like a silent spell or something like that here?
Muffled spell.
Do you want to cast Detect Magic?
Can I just do like an Arcana check, just kind of like try to glean
Sure.
if it would be like a magical effect? Because I don't want to spend 10 minutes doing that. Well, I guess if they're at a library anyway, screw it. We'll just ritually cast it.
Okay. The answer is probably, yeah, you detect some old, low-level magic permeating the area. It's less of like a, whoa, active, fresh spell effect, and more like, there's something here. So maybe it's a diffused silence effect. Yeah.
So is it like, does it feel similar to that like that white noise thing that person back in Gerdumble was using, whose house we broke into,
Oh, yeah.
who were sleeping in like their attic?
Probably a
Yeah.
weaker version of that.
Maybe
Yeah.
there's that sort of pressure on your ears, similar phenomenon, yeah.
Sorry, I don't have ears. I'm a bird.
Active noise
You,
cancellation.
you have ears, you just don't have external ears.
Speaking of which, Cashmere's are finally pointed up. He says,
Yeah.
"Oh look, my favorite part of the city." Hey, Crim, how many of the books would you say you've read in this library? All of them?
Oh, I wish, but not really. Although, and Crim kind of goes through his satchel and he pulls out one of the books. It says, Bows and You, Cultures Beyond the Treetops. This was actually the first book that I was given on my adventure. It was from here. I read it a lot. I guess I could probably return it now, though I think it was actually gifted to me, so it's not really the same. I'll hang on to it. But the person who gave it to me might know a thing or two. His name is Lasolado, but, well, to be honest, not sure how all the information got here in the first place, so who knows? Libraries are magical.
Quite endearing. Just hang tight. You want anyone to think you stole it, the book.
Oh no, it was definitely given to me.
They don't know that.
You know, Crim, I'm used to being the book nerd in all the company that I'm in, so it's refreshing to see what others see.
Both nerds to me.
Hey,
Who would
you're,
like
the one
to
you are the one who
lead?
said this was your favorite place.
Only because it's quiet. I don't read books.
Well.
Are you searching for assistance, or are you going to do your own research into this topic?
Technically both, in that we will... Crim is looking for the main librarian, Lasolado, from last time, who had, from what he understands, had provided a lot of the books for the ritual prior, and he's going to kind of ask about that, assuming they can find him.
You find him. He is called forth by the associate librarian from some back room, some task back there. Shall I say he is a barn owl? Does that sound okay?
What a cliche.
He's a barn owl. Got white and orange plumage, a severe gaze, but his voice is kindly enough, sort of neutral, as he welcomes you back, asks what he can help with.
Crim thanks him again and kind of shows the book, as I mentioned, kind of like shows how well read it had been. He mentions that it prepped him a lot for his time out. And then he explains that during his travels, the mystery of how he had managed this ritual in the first place had become relevant, and he wants to know, like, what the books were for that and how he even found it. And also admits/reminds that as part of the ritual, he seemed to have just forgotten, and therefore can't recall it himself.
Okay. Yeah, you nod along and start leading you through some of the aisles. Or that's what they're called at a library?
I think so.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Will?
I'll just say, in the while that's going on, Turnbull's kind of do his own little investigation for anything on the subject of resonance. Anytime they go to a library, he has to do that.
That's a good one.
Okay. Then, could I please get investigation checks from each of you? I won't say advantage, but Laslato is helping.
Okay.
Way to pull out a really fine tin whistle and try to play a nice 10-hour lo-fi music compilation.
Well,
Damn it.
Okay.
Okay. I
Does it punch through the silence or no?
Yeah, it's just quiet.
Let's
I'm gonna
see.
get rid of my resonance early. Not resonance. Resolve early for that
Yeah,
one.
same. Even though it didn't really help me. I went from an 8 to a 9 on the die.
Technically, that helps. I went from a 4 to a 16, which becomes 22.
Well, good for you. I got a 13.
Okay. Turner, in this place, the places you've already looked, adding to that knowledge, you don't really get anything meaningful. Maybe you check out a book or two and able to read them over the next day or two. At least gloss through them. It's not going to give you any new info, I'm afraid.
Okay. God, I can't get a good investigation roll on those wherever we go.
And Star, what was your final result, Nemo?
22.
22. And correct me if I'm wrong, but surely he would have had, Crim, that is, various books in addition to all his notes and materials and such at home when it happened, right?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, he probably had to pay that off.
Yeah.
Anything that was with him during that ritual, Crim recalls, yeah, that shit's burnt. That's gone.
Yeah. You could tell that your librarian host is being polite when it's like, oh, there should be a tome here. Oh, that's right. Anyway, let's move along. And like, there's all the places you're going, all the sections. There's like gaps and.
Crim's eyes bug out as it slowly dawns on him why that is. He doesn't seem to tell the others just yet. He's probably saving it for when he's out of the library. Someone with very good insight would probably have already determined why.
I won't like go the inside approach, but I'll go like the nerd approach. Seems there's like a lot of gaps of books here.
Librarian just says they were checked out previously. Leaves it at that.
Crim's eyes bugging out, just looking away.
You are able to determine that you are going through a lot of areas that are religious, like ancient rites, ancient rituals, angels, priests, forgotten religions, druidic religions, good, evil, like these big archetypal concepts and things that don't mesh super well with modern ideas and modern forces of Bose. But the ones that seem the most relevant are missing.
Now that I think about it, the effect does sound kind of like extremely powerful primal magic.
Primal magic?
Like some sort of reincarnation.
Admittedly, that's
as in more advanced versions of the kind of stuff I do.
Oh, now I think about it, you can turn into beasts and things like that, and I'm not too far removed. Just permanent.
Librarian would say, yeah, he bounced some ideas around with your father, Crim, in the months that have passed. Still not sure what exactly it was, but that is something that occurred to them too. A dragon is a pretty unique beast. So could it be that, or could it be something else? I don't know. But the most useful stuff is missing, is the conclusion of this investigation.
Well, I know. I'll at least make note of the titles that probably were missing, and maybe in another library, not only can I find copies of them, but I can probably also try to order a diversion of a copy of that to here again. I'm sorry. Then after he finishes noting down the known missing copies, which is definitely logged because libraries love logging those things, he will make note of that for future library visits in other areas.
Well, Crim, if our journeys ever take us farther up north, perhaps the libraries at the observatory might have something we're looking for.
Yeah.
Crim thanks him for his help, and he thanks him for his help and says he aside from what Turner had checked out, he thinks that'll be all for this visit as they continue investigating.
I want to do something as well. So, while they're off looking for books, Cashmere is bored. So instead of perusing the aisles, he climbs up and hops up onto the bookshelves, the tops of them,
Damn it.
and looks around. He's looking for instances of where people have just left things up there. He knows where he comes from that libraries are not usually as knowledgeable, full of knowledge as this place is. But he's still wondering if he can find something up there. Somebody else had the same idea.
Roll me a d6, please.
I like to imagine he wall jumps up the stacks to get up there.
4.
4. You find a total of 4 silver pieces left around, an empty cup with some residual water that has turned brown with the passage of time, a small container of what looks like some ritual spell casting component, like bat poop or something of that effect. You also find a small scribbled drawing of a kitty, a feral cat.
And, back in the day when folks still carried cash, Little Bugle would go around searching under vending machines for quarters.
Cashmere would in fact pocket the silver. He would leave the water. as well as the ritual components. But he would take the sketch of the kitty for later.
It's like
later.
not filled in correctly. There's like blue fur. It's not very.
It's their
It's
OC.
Or was it a Sparkle Cat OC?
Oh, God.
As you jump back down, you see an uplifted blue cat.
You know, that's not too far off for some places.
As they're leaving, he just says, "Well, that was an eventful trip."
Yes, it was. And I'm also reminded, the fact that I found it that so many of the missing books were from the divine religious section kind of makes sense. After all, I had to learn Infernal.
Oh,
Wait, did I ever mention that?
You did not. Well, not to recent memory.
You know, we're
It's kind of... It was part of our teachings back when I was able to go to the church. You kind of... to understand evil, to combat evil, you kind of have to know what they're saying half the time. So, turned out I remember it being very useful.
Influences husband and relationship. You guys think I can smoke here?
probably
No.
not. You're indoors.
Damn it.
Smoke
burn
is
the
very
books.
bad for books.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Yeah,
Books hold smells pretty well too, don't they?
they do.
Very. That's why all books smell like libraries.
And in the interest of pacing and moving things along, I'll just tell you, if you were to go home, you would find that room has been preserved, that old bedroom. It's a little musty, a little dusty, but it's otherwise completely empty. Nothing has been replaced in there, and a very thorough investigation would... Okay, oh, there's a nail that's a little bit loose. Oh, this paint is a little bit faded. Oh no, it's just because the sun hits the wall here. Like, there's nothing to find that wasn't taken by the ritual.
Yeah, Crim will explain that one of the first memories he has as a dragon was waking up in his room and not even really ash was left behind. He remembered fire and then, like, it was not there. It was burned so thoroughly that it was probably... Do we know the term atomized? Does atomized exist in this realm?
Disintegrated. The disintegration
I don't-
ray is at least a spell, so maybe you think of it. They think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like a high level disintegration ray spell, just struck everything.
Would Turner recall if Crim had ever mentioned anything about a mother?
Sure,
A
he's
mother?
mentioned his mom.
Because we've only seen his dad so far, so...
Oh, it was mentioned a while back that in the last session that his mother is currently on
right.
tour, I think in a place near Karifi, ironically, because she is a songstress.
All roads lead to Creefy.
Can I do one small thing?
Hmm.
And when he looks around, it looks back to Crim. Hey, as a reminder, Crim, what was your last name? Your previous name?
Oh, that would be Sing Song.
Alright, I suppose while we're here, we should settle a little question of philosophy. He closes his eyes. He forges some of the old power into him. Show me the lost spirit of Sing Song.
Huh?
Okay. Oh! You got resolved. I like that. That's awesome.
Ooh.
Okay, where is that power description?
Wade, what are you doing?
Doesn't that only work for dead people?
Exactly.
Hmm. Which session was that? Gosh.
I mean, I could read the
It's not
boon if
that
you want me to.
campaign.
Yeah, could you read the wording of how the ghost appears?
Select the period in time in the past as an action you can enable sapient beings that perished in the vicinity during that time to manifest as ghosts, especially if you think about them.
And Crim, would you give him the time that this occurred?
Yeah, though he'd seem a little nervous about it, because he's pretty sure he's also Fafami. He'd nervously say, I mean, I guess if you want to confirm that.
Okay. You've reached out, maybe giving a period of time that's generous, a couple days. That seems fair.
Mhm.
Kind of localizing that segment of the timeline. When was that? What moon? What day? Get it just right. Show you something Crim would never forget. and you let loose your power, and no ghosts manifest here.
Does Crim feel anything? Like he's like, is someone calling me right now?
Hold on 1 second. Turner stabs Crim in the neck. Now try.
From the ghost.
Let's make a ghost.
Yeah, you use this power that's powerful. You invoke it. You force ghosts to appear that died there, but they don't.
Well, that's a relief.
By the gods sing
For a
song, he
second, I
actually did
thought I
it.
wasn't real.
Honestly, I do want to wonder. You've seen the ghosts I've conjured, my old comrades. Despite all what they endured, they seemed happy, content, rest. You can give that up.
I'd say he only prolonged it.
Prolonged it for a while. But I didn't really know that was coming, and I didn't really get the chance to see the world at all. So try to have some regrets if that were to happen. Although
to be a caged
Crim
bird.
Crim briefly glances at who was that? Yeah, at Cash before shaking his head and saying, "Well, I guess that would be all we can really check for here. I guess when it was thoroughly burning everything away, that was it." Oh, and the one thing that Crim will check is he knew that when his room got very cluttered, that some things were obviously not in his room at the time of the ritual. Maybe there were some clues in the storage area that had the excess supplies. He doubts it, but there might be some peripheries that he might be able to, maybe this could give us a clue from 2 degrees removed or something like that.
Okay. You head to one of the closets of your old home. You find yourself in an emotional state that's nostalgic, but also tainted by how your life was then. It's like, okay, wow, this is familiar. I used to spend so much time with all this stuff, but maybe, hey, I'm really glad I'm done spending all the time with this stuff. You find old lockets that were said to maybe contain power. You find jars of various salts, various fine materials from around the world. You find a couple notes in a shakily written hand, and nothing was very active or highly useful at the moment of the ritual, though.
Yeah. Would this be a moment where the memory echo earring would come into play? Because what it says is, while wearing this earring, you and all creatures within 30 feet that have been your ally for more than 1 week benefit from enhanced memory. While intentionally reflecting on an experience within the last year, the memory is strengthened almost to the point of being relived as if it's being recalled. Does that apply?
For Crim here, yeah.
I think he is referring to the what was forgotten from the ritual.
Oh.
I hadn't even thought of that.
Wow.
Even if
Another
this
resolve.
doesn't work, I'm giving you my resolve.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
I half suspect it's magically sealed, so it can't be unlocked so trivially, but
It's plot exception.
yeah, it's worth a shot.
1 sec.
Alright.
Sounds too you think.
Oh,
Skip
no,
all these
I gave-
chapters. That's irrelevant.
Oh no! I gave him a cheat button.
Tal's getting
Things-
flashbacks to the last time he gave us a recall thing.
Sing song, I'm glad to join you for all the strife this mortal world has to offer.
Divine intervention. What happened?
What happened?
That actually did
Don't
happen
worry, that
in the
only has,
previous campaign.
You gotta roll a D100 for that one, or whatever.
1 minute.
We're about to have what was it?
Tom's
Baldur
weighing his
gives
options.
tadpole moments where Crim wants to share this with the rest of the party.
Oh, did I ruin it? I'm so sorry.
I mean, it was very definitely magically sealed, so I think Tal could go either way. I think what he's considering right now is
Tell
the
me about it.
magical ramifications of things and possibly the narrative impact.
You're not our ally.
Yeah, we see the memory, and it's just Crim, was actually like an ancient evil wizard who's like, and now I'm gonna do my most evil act yet. Become child.
Crib, do you use the memory echo?
If Cash suggests that to him, Crim will like, oh, that's brilliant. I mean, I don't know if it'll work or not, but it's worth a shot. And yeah, he will try to think back.
Leave it to the simple mind
Yeah.
to think of the simple solution.
I think in that moment, Cashmere would have forgotten that he even had that on, and then as Crim's like shuffling around in his closet, Cashmere has like an epiphany. His ears shoot straight up. He's like, "Oh, wait a minute!" He taps the earring.
Crim seems a bit somber about it because he's thinking about all the feelings that he had during the ritual as his days were ticking down. He does remember that much.
Okay, Crim, could you please roll me a religion check?
I am going to cast Enhance Ability on him and give him advantage on intelligence checks.
Okay.
Oh
I was
my gosh.
going to basically say like I could potentially give him a help action if it's something he's actively doing, but I think the idea of doing this is cooler.
Alright, that advantage will probably have helped my ass. Hell yeah! Effectively gave me a plus 10. What is 19 plus 6? 25.
You use this magic item in this amazing way, and you have to steel yourself because suddenly you are back in those moments, remembering the incredible weakness of your failing body, the inability to even fully inspire, the way you trembled, the way your memory was getting hazy as you were dying. And you remember speaking the last words of the ritual. And you remember, things falling down, everything shaking, a spell of great power taking hold of the room, and you in the middle of the circle. But at the time, your senses were failing you. You quickly lost consciousness. But perhaps some amount of your brain held on to those memories. Now this memory echo is able to rest from that moment to the present. What was the result of the religion check in? 25?
25.
19 plus 6.
Okay. You recall, like, the golden flames that were produced in the ritual. You recall their warmth. But now you recall how those flames consumed you from the outside in. They literally, entered your flesh and burned it away in this transformation. And with a 25, that feeling of cleansing fire, and as you associate what would this mean, what kind of magic would do this, you are certain that it was a divine ritual. Whether from a priest, a devil, an angel, a god even, that's the sort of magic we're dealing with.
And that's as far as he can only go back to that. He can't recall what that final step was, just the results of it. It seems that the results are still sealed. Not the results, the
Step.
The final step that he forgot is still sealed.
You're trying to recall that. For some reason, there is a gap in your memory, and you don't think it's because, I was so tired, my body was failing me. It's like it's sealed, I guess, is one interpretation.
Yeah, Crim definitely could deduce that if there was a final step, he would have found it the day prior, and because he needed time to prep it or whatever, is his reasoning of that. And if he can't think back to that, then it's like, yeah, that's definitely sealed, missing, or some other such.
Yeah, everything else is normally recollected.
Oh, I don't remember them being so gold like that. Wow. That probably would have hurt a lot if I wasn't already dying.
Did it not hurt anyways?
Well, I mean, I was dying. Everything hurt.
Starting.
Right. Are you okay, Crim?
Oh, what do you mean? There's tears coming from his eyes.
Just checking in.
Take all the time you need.
Well,
Oh, no, I'm fine. I'm just...
Do you wanna go back out?
nostalgic.
Do you wanna go out and get some air?
Oh, Crim does one last look at the closet, realizes there's probably not much more that he can get here, and he's like, yeah, I'll He doesn't say anything else as he just walks out.
Okay.
you know, I wonder if the price you were meant to pay was the memory of how you did it.
Possible. After all, you wouldn't want to have a bunch of powerful dragons running around and
Well,
things
yeah.
like that or something.
Isn't that what you're being sent out to do anyway? And now I'm having even, well, more than just second thoughts now.
Powerful immortal dragons.
You know,
Oh, I'm
what is
not
it-
immortal. I think I remember it to be something like a few hundred, really.
You know,
find
that's a
that
good
knowledge,
point.
Crim, and you will be.
It's
Yeah,
not-
because if you forget how to do it, and somebody clearly wants you to do it again, yeah, that is kind of...
And for the first time, Crim actually seems to take seriously this caution that prior he was like, oh, you're being silly, being a dragon's awesome. But upon this reasoning being presented to him, he seems to be more seriously considering why is he being asked to this. But he doesn't know how to process that yet, so he kind of doesn't reply.
I don't want to get your hopes up, but, well, if we happen to run into my friends back in Karifi, Vela actually, she specialized in transmutation magic. She might know a thing or two about this.
Maybe special. Well, I think you need to know transmutation and divine magic at this point. I don't think flames normally burn that gold. Wait a minute. Crim opens his mouth and produces like a tiny burst of light. Is that the same color?
Nah.
Yeah. Crim nods.
Well, she might have. We learn from all sorts of different sources, even if we can't harness everything. There's still a lot about that magic that I know of.
True. Okay. I'm feeling a little better, I think. Let's check on Huston and then find a place to rest.
Yeah.
And talk to my father after that, and
If
we
you slept over with
can-
my parents, I'd sleep with yours.
oh yeah, sure. Well, I'll need a bed. Kind of burned my old one.
And the rest of you, is it safe to say you'd find a local, very well-reputed inn? It's the must-stop place if you come to this town.
Yes.
Sure.
We all like to try to cast our high level spells that don't work. Damn it!
Well,
It's a tourist trap, literally. And to be clear, Crim, the memories you would have access to of the ritual be like, okay, now you could recall at will maybe some of the materials you had, maybe even some of the text. But when it comes to what revelation you had, that final ingredient to finally make it work after trying for years, yeah, you don't know.
does he, and this is important, does he have any recollection of the feeling associated with that, or is that also a blank?
Well, I guess it depends how acute was this feeling, how nuanced is it. I imagine you'd remember
Ultimately.
triumph of some kind.
So not like despair at having to sacrifice a little girl or something like that.
Had to condemn his parents' souls to the lower planes for the rest of eternity.
Wow.
That's kind of like also why I was trying to like remember. Wait, did he mention having a mom?
Yeah.
Did she give up her life for this, or was she lost in the collateral of the fire?
Yeah.
His mom's been replaced by a clone.
Oh no.
More clones.
Yeah, no, let's say no, maybe not that much. Maybe just
That makes
a
sense.
mix of powerful emotions.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, Crim doesn't recall any of that. And instead kind of just resigns himself to, oh yeah, that's real sealed. As he makes arrangements for, like, he can just set up his little sleeping nest in
That's
his
like-
room instead, where his bed used to be and all that.
That's like pickle jar sealed.
Pickle jar. Do pickle jars exist here? They
Sure.
That's a thing.
Glass bottles exist.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Imagine if we were playing a campaign where glass bottles were too advanced.
Oh,
Like,
I mean, are they threaded glass bottles?
Caveman campaign.
Stone Age campaign.
or for,
Bunga.
Or Legend of
But
Zelda.
we all can still cast like really fuck you spells. The Eldritch Blast.
you find
Start the
Huston
fire.
mid-transaction with some music supply store, like silk for their cases. Can we mold it? Like, what's the best tensile? Blah, blah, blah. He's telling them all I'm making a good sale, and he tells you, oh yeah, can't wait to make some more sales if I could stay here another day at least. I really need it. And he's enjoying himself.
I like the idea of, like, Huston being this extremely, like, simple person, but the moment you ask him, like, a really specific physics fact about silk, like, what is the tensile strength of this sheet, he'll immediately have the number, like, down to the second decimal.
What's the Young's modulus?
He definitely is an expert at finances, silk, and selling his product. Okay. Let's see. You would be able to head to Great Inn. You find Crim. This had a previous name. This had a name previously, I should say. It's on Ixate Street. It's on the boardwalk. It's like a very trendy place to walk. There's great views of the ocean, and it's really good for non-avians too, because it's all on the ground. The inn has been renamed the Crimson Rhythm.
Wow.
And you find it to be a 3-story, lovely little inn. There's beautiful red and purple interiors from the upholstery to the curtains. There's no food, though. It's not a tavern. You have to go elsewhere. And there's definitely a couple of rooms adjacent on the ground floor you could take just before the end of the hallway. Oh, and there's even windows with a great view of the boardwalk and the sea. The carpet is literally a red carpet.
You know, it just
Your
occurred to me.
reputation precedes you.
The reason this place is so the reason this town is so showy is because birds are really showy. I don't even know if that was intentional or not. That's just really good if it was.
Maybe like the mayor's like a peacock or something.
Oh no!
And just imagine like traveling back to your hometown. You're like just like a Hampton.
I need like 1 minute here.
Crim's actually not sure if it's named after him or not. But like the little light patches on his cheeks darken a bit from that, and he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, you have fun there." And he quickly turns around and starts heading back home. Hal is processing something very important.
Guys, this dog is so cute. Just look at him.
Aww.
He's in his doggy bed.
Let me push him a little closer. He's
Oh,
like, what are you doing?
woke him up.
Oh no.
Sadly,
Good
he's not
boy.
blepping.
Good boy.
Okay. As you are heading to your rooms, it's a ground floor, simple L-shaped corridor in one of the wings.
Don't worry, I'll get lost in one anyway.
He got lost
you
in an
have the-
L-shaped mall.
Have the keys. Huston's still outside. You turn the sharp corner of the L-shaped corridor, and you almost bumped right into another patron, an uplifted jaguar man. But as he walks past you all, you and he realize at the same time you've seen each other before.
Did we
and
beat him
turn.
up?
This is the jaguar that was in Inchu's home in Gerdumble.
Oh.
Oh, friend, it's been a while.
He's dressed like a hunter. He's got a maul, javelins, backpack, some scale mail from like hips up, but mostly bare fur from elbows to fingers, knees to toes. He's like licking his fingers. Not crazy. He's a cat, like he just ate, as he considers you all. Keeps his
Screwshot?
distance.
Small world.
Screwshot by gods, it's been a while.
Sure has. What have you been up to?
Hello again. Wasn't expecting you. I haven't forgotten the 50 gold pieces you gave me that day, Cheetah.
Trust me, nor have I. I'm sure neither has Turner.
Wait, why me? Wait, why me?
I have money.
He doesn't smile. Money. I needed it to get back on my feet. I used to think money was power. How that's changed, huh? With the times.
Well, money buys components.
Components don't let you turn back time and do the other funky things people are doing.
Sure enough. Well, you seem like you're on your feet now. What brought you back here? More mercenary business?
I was chasing down a lead. Been traveling a lot.
I take it you're one of those koi, I think it was called?
I am, actually. I think most people don't know you can do it that way. I saw what you did to Inchu. I used that technique for a while. Killing's still easier, I found, and that's what I reckon most koi killers are doing. Koi hunters, koi killers. One of those terms will catch.
Oh,
What do you
there's a lot of you, isn't there?
What are you hoping to do with the power aside from? Well, why don't you enlighten us?
You should say powers. The power you took from him, Crow, I think it was Turner, it shows you the near future, right? Inchu seemed to experience a vision or revelation, suddenly decided we needed to move.
Something to that effect.
I can tell, I'm right. I wouldn't mind taking that power, for my purposes, but you can keep it for now, Crow.
Well, thank you for the generosity.
I do respect your strength.
We both have something in common. Spend the rest of our life living in fear.
Did you just imply that I spend my life living in fear?
That you'll have people hunting you to the rest of your days if you succeed.
He laughs. His teeth are red. No. I decided a long time ago I would never be weak again. But I also recently decided, a few days ago, I could benefit from allies and protect one another. You all I know are people of strength who use their power, these or otherwise, to do what needs to be done rather than being manipulated or cowering in tavern rooms or running away. And maybe you're the allies I want.
Well, that takes us back to my previous question. What are you hoping to gain with these powers? Aside from not being weak.
There are people who have them who really shouldn't, who are wasting them. I don't have a specific goal other than avoiding the boy I used to be and the painful situations I've faced as an adult. I will be strong. I will make those around me that I care about strong.
Right. How much of that did you decide just now?
None of it.
Really?
gives you that impression. Do I seem like someone who changes his mind on the turn of a gold piece?
I'm gonna roll insight. Let's see what happens. 1d20 plus 6. Oof. I'm gonna resolve that actually. Why not?
At that phrasing, Wade has like a devilish smile, like he doesn't fucking know.
It's the same number. 12. All right, whatever.
Impressive.
Horse nap. Second bad resolve rolled in a row this session.
Let me think about how to answer that. One sec. Okay. He's being guarded, especially when you ask him about what he plans to do. Maybe he's trying to conceal he doesn't know. Maybe has a specific motive. But beyond that, he's an aggressive person. You don't think he's playing games with you?
Somewhat related. You mentioned his teeth are red. Are we talking he's literally got blood in his mouth, or does
Did he just eat?
have red?
Strawberries, maybe. Big blood.
I see.
Sure. Maybe he's wanting to match the theme of the Crimson.
What was his name again?
Scroocha.
Scroocha.
Scoocha?
Written down. Yeah.
Skrucha.
Well, Scroocha, we have our own path that we are currently set on. We're not in the position to go out of the way at the moment.
How many powers do you have?
He looks at you. Thinking of taking them. What if I said 20? Would that entice your hunger?
Not
Who
mine.
did you have to kill to get them?
Wouldn't entice mine, but I'm sure there's somebody else we've met that would be very interested in taking that from you.
I have killed a few. One was a false alarm and a shame. But so many who have these, all they think about is hiding that fact. And then hiding, running. Or if the madness takes them, getting up to strange ideas need to be stopped.
And that is what
That
we're
Crim
trying
kind
to
of shrugs a bit, like, yeah, that makes a little bit of sense.
Considering there are people who want to kill them just for having those powers, don't you think that makes sense?
He smiles a little bit. Yes, I suppose it does. We all have self-preservation in us. It's not enough for those who are weak. Not all powers grant prowess in protecting from ambushes or in open combat.
Well, we only make it a habit of taking these powers from people who are a threat to the very region around them.
Well, right now, I can afford to respect your strength and allow what you've done to dictate how things should be between us, who carries what. If you have some path you've already set yourself on, perhaps we cannot travel together and watch each other's backs. Is that your answer?
Where is your path taking you?
I fancy I'll call it the Koi Allegiance. I'm going to be focused on building that up. There's only so much I can do alone. Still have to sleep, still have to eat, and I still don't have everything I would like.
And
I wish-
won't the very people you assemble together each start stabbing each other in the back? You're gathering people who are strongly incentivized to kill each other for personal gain.
You're right. You're smart. I would appreciate a thought, or a thinker like that on my side, but it's not something I haven't thought about. We all know that being alone and using these powers puts a huge target on your back. You need people to watch out for one another, or else you lose everything. I'm not going to get people who are insane and corrupted, people who don't understand the simple facts as I tell them.
Yeah, just people motivated by their own power and interest. As a little question, Scroocha, do you know why I gave you 50 gold?
Pity?
I offered it to you in the middle of a fight. And you betrayed your benefactor in a matter of seconds. Just don't have those you consort with be the sort who would do the same. If I hope you change in one way, it's to stop being prey to those who would offer more.
That's very philosophical for you. I thought you were just someone who talked too much and said so little. But I'd also appreciate a thinker like you.
Well, given our past history, I think you can understand why I'll have to say no. Unless someone else has 50 gold.
I only have one question. Are you gonna kill again?
No, certainly.
Well,
So many of these things, so many koi.
let's clarify. Are you going to murder for it? There is a difference.
I'm no coward. I give them a fair fight.
So someone who is just living their lives trying to survive with this, you would decide their fate that simply?
I passed by one who was doing good with it. I'm not going to tell you who they are or where they were. 'Cause you seem to be hunting them too, from what you've implied. But I haven't killed everyone who has it.
As I said, we only make a habit of taking these from menaces and those who are a danger.
Yeah. And we don't kill. Since you do, we have a bit of a problem now, don't we?
I don't think so. Unless you believe that the weak should keep these powers as this world is being reshaped. The strong shouldn't have them. The people who earn them, the people who have ideas of what to do with them. If you're going to fight me for that, why don't you go fight mages who seek power, warriors who train their bodies every day, and are willing to fight and kill, practice war.
I just don't
Do you
think
understand the kind of world you're trying to create?
You don't even seem to know what you are trying to create.
I just don't think you're worthy of being judge, jury, and executioner. But that's just my perspective.
A spectral tiger, feral. It's this light blue colors, phases into view, prowling slowly around his legs, looking up at him, looking up at you. He takes his maul off his back. I am worthy. Do you want me to prove it?
Here?
If you think raw strength is what proves you worthy of that, I don't know what to tell you. That's
Grim
not
nervously
how this
glances
works.
around.
But I'm not interested in fighting.
Disagree.
Honestly, yeah. You know, I'm not interested in letting you walk around like this. So why don't we teach you not to? He looks to the others, out of the corner of his eye.
I'm not interested in getting us exiled from this town, let alone this lovely inn.
We got to take this outside.
Yeah. If we could at least take this elsewhere.
I advise you to think about the allegiance idea, but if you're already this opposed to me, there's nothing more to say for now.
And I would advise you to think a little bit more.
He just snarls at you a little bit, the same way someone might like grimace, or not grimace, but like scowl, that's right.
Just a warning what excessive use of this power does. You know what it did to your benefactor today. What he wanted.
I do. His head was twisted by it somehow. It's a pattern I've noticed. Well, step outside and find out if you wish. I'm leaving.
Best wishes, Scroocha.
He starts to walk away.
Cashmere will call after him. If we meet again and you have more blood on your hands, it's gonna get ugly. Understand?
When he turns, he's smiling and says, I look forward to it.
Cashmere scowls.
That was pleasant. Yeah, I suppose while we're alone, we would say, these hunters don't understand the costs of all this on themselves, on others.
I think
it's
that,
more likely they just don't care.
as I was going to say, he's seen firsthand, but he thinks it's worth it.
There's one thing about it that's a little odd, though. And Crim is... I don't know how to describe this directly mechanically, but he's trying to study him from not necessarily an insight perspective, but an arcane perspective of, like, we have seen patterns now of magic contamination of the psyche through overexposure and overuse of these powers. This guy has supposedly 20 of them in him right now. He probably uses them a lot. What seems different about him compared to the people who have been abusing it prior, such that he is still capable of, as far as Crim is concerned, even being coherent?
I don't think it was actually 20. I think it was like an estimate.
Or maybe
He said, what if I had 20?
Yeah, he wasn't
Oh,
saying that
okay.
as like that's his answer, or
Either way-
he was, and we didn't insight it.
Either way, he's clearly been busy. So Crim's trying to study, like, he's trying to cross-reference to see, like, is there a pattern he can seek from this? Not necessarily from a moralistic perspective, but an academic perspective.
Yeah, I suppose you could do insight or investigation.
Okay, I'll
Insight
try...
would be easier.
Well, his insight's terrible, so investigation it is. Unless it's a +7 difference.
In the DC.
Yeah, in the DC, but it doesn't matter. I won't know that anyway. He's going for it from an academic perspective, so it's investigation. I only have a 17 on that.
17. The corruption, if you will, of those power bearers, Koi, that you've encountered so far, has not usually been like, oh, you take one look at them, or you say a few words to them, and like, oh, it's clear what their whole deal is and how they've been corrupted. As a 17, you don't sense anything different regarding him. It's not like a different situation. He could be very corrupted, he could be not corrupted. Is it something that is even like modular like that? I'm not sure.
He is the
Crim-
corruption.
Well,
Granular, right?
Yeah, Crim thinks aloud about that and says, maybe the corruption is just trying to seek more of it after some point. I mean, look at him.
Maybe the real
That's not
corruption is
bad.
the friends we made along the way.
True.
one very significant... Oh, Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, not Snap. Doc, sorry.
Well, one very significant difference between him and most of the other cases we've been dealing with, his power didn't come to him on its own. He went and took it from somebody else.
Like us, kind of.
Yeah, so do we.
More than kind
Though
of.
we've been very careful about not using ours too much.
Well, most of us have.
I think it's good insight, Doc. Resolve.
We need to link up with that Devron character. This is getting out of hand.
Well, problem with that is, if we tell Devron, I'm worried he's going to get himself killed too. He'll march right up to that guy and say, "Please give it to me, sir," and he'll just get pasted.
Okay.
He did it to us. If we were mean, we could have pasted him. It's terrible.
You continue your walk to your rooms after this few minutes of thought and seeing Scrooge go, and you find these two doors on the right adjacent. There's one more room beyond yours before you hit the end of the wing, the end of the hallway. That door is slightly ajar. All the others are closed. Looks like you put keys in your doors and open them, though.
We do.
Yes.
Boom!
Crim checks the slightly ajar door.
As you approach it, you hear a dripping sound. The door creaks open. That nightjar lady, Alve, who spoke to you earlier, it looks like she was getting ready for bed, but her head is contused, her chest ripped apart, and there's blood dripping onto the wooden floor as she's lying on the bed, dead.
Oh.
Oh.
Crim suddenly dashes out of the inn. He looks back at the others wordlessly, urging them to follow.
Turner kind of picks up on that, yeah.
Yeah.
Cashmere will like wonder what's going on. Will like look inside the room and like realize that he needs to follow Crim like now.
You want me
As
to ask
Crim
her?
As Crim, do we really need to ask her? I think we know what happened.
Alright, fair.
Move it, Wade.
We can ask her later. As Crim gets to the lobby area, he throws caution to... Well, yeah, they already know we can talk. He shouts the room number and that someone's been murdered, and then flees.
Okay.
He says... No, he flees and says he's chasing who did it.
Catch a vague sense of confusion from the staff as they process this. Flee out the doors, out onto the boardwalk, sea breeze. There's trees left, trees right, some buildings. Give me a perception check, please.
Perception.
Guys to do this.
Can any of us do this?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say you all could. It will be sight-based, though.
Dang. Another 6? Are you kidding me? 3 in a row.
I'm gonna wait.
Okay.
I'm gonna let
I
Nero
got a
do
12.
his roll, and then I'm gonna What was Skritcha like either wearing or carrying that would have like been very immediately visible?
That old trick.
Mostly bare fur, as I said. Scama's got a big backpack. He's dressed to travel. Travel light, though.
From the skies, Crim only has a 13.
Okay.
I got an 18.
18. Let me roll stealth check. Just kidding. He's not hiding. You
Good
see
thing.
him, Alex. And good thing you rolled that high, because no one else is able to spot him quickly. But you focus, hey, what's the best path he would have been in? And you look at a specific spot and gap just a moment between the trees. You see him just standing tall, walking as if he's setting out on an adventure. Maybe
Over there!
I'm going to have on the way. Turner's going to cast Mage Armor.
How long does that last?
8 hours.
Perfect.
You reach him. You're 50 feet away. He whirl stops, crouches, his tail lashing, and then he relaxes. And he sees it's you all. And
How
there's
public of an area is this?
Yeah. Also, one sec. There's a suspicious cast to his face as he sees how quickly you're approaching him and your expressions. You're like at the edge of town. It's like a pretty mountainous part of town. Like you're not supposed to exit this area. There's like some houses somewhat distant nearby, but not really anyone else in sight except for the occasional bird flying overhead. Lots of tree cover. Maybe 100 feet from the coast.
I see. Predators don't usually look up. Does he notice Crim?
Do you want to roll a stealth check?
Sure. He's in a glide to approach. Hang on, I'm checking which one stealth is. There it is.
You have to beat a 20.
Oh no, that's 6. That's a 6.
You maybe don't have the handle of how to fly to not be heard or seen. He notes you.
Okay.
Was it you?
Should have known
Die.
you weren't just getting over a good meal.
I admit I'm not opposed to the taste of blood. It was all I ate.
And there is... Does anyone else want to say anything?
I do.
Oh, okay.
I was just
Crim is a bit further away. He had to catch up.
Cashmere was gonna say, of course it's fucking him. He's going to stomp up to him, and he will hold up his hand to... He will use his ability, but Crim can go first.
His ability?
His time ability.
Oh, no, you do not want Crim to go next. You go first.
You wish to initiate this combat, Snap?
No, I think his time ability was to, like, make a copy to say something, right?
Yeah, but if you're stomping up to him with a hand out raised, it's going to trigger initiative.
Yeah, that's very fair. He doesn't know what we're
Oh,
doing.
because, for what it's worth, what Crim was about to do... Crim's not even talking. He's about to dive bomb this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's safe to say no matter what initiative is being rolled here, we did not get any sort of surprise from this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That weight is spreading out right now.
Okay.
Cashmere, when he's like in distance, which is 30 feet, he will use the copy ability to copy Scrutcha.
That's probably going to be initiative.
Okay,
Yeah.
roll for initiative.
Alright,
Crim
You will
is-
have to write the numbers in the chat, please.
yeah,
Crim
okay.
is already large and going in for a dive bomb.
Oh, wait, I
damn
can
it.
just do this. Right,
This will be
hang on.
theater of the mind.
Okay, I'll get them all listed out in order.
Thank you.
18 for me.
Bro, Scrusha,
I see
you
your
fucked up, man. We're about to sleep.
Shoot. This is a dungeon, is it? Oh god, they've got 4th level spells, is it? 3rd?
So, you don't know how tempted I was to make, like, someone's been murdered jokes after we saw
Oh.
Okay, I just need
But-
Crim. Oh, Crim's 16. Okay.
Oh my goodness, are you alright? By the divines. Person is dead.
Oh no.
Imagine Scrooge's murders her. He just goes over, someone's been murdered!
Okay. So you're in a flat area, there's sparse trees, rocks, a couple nearby buildings, ocean not too far as I said, and mountains sealing off kind of the western, or the southern, hills, the southern part of the map. If you want to say you're near a tree, if you want to say you're such and such high, no problem. Alright, Cash, so one more time for the camera. What do you do?
The camera.
Cashmere will power walk up to this guy, and he'll say again, of course it's fucking him. And he'll hold out his hand, and once he's within 30 feet of distance, he will use his power to make a copy of Scrutcha that'll appear 5 feet next to Cashmere.
Okay.
Wait, 5 feet of you, a duplicate of a creature. Wait, you make creature within 5 feet, you can see It's confusing me, sorry. As an action, you may create within 5 feet of you a duplicate of a creature that you may see within 30 feet.
Yeah. So he can be
Yeah.
30 feet away.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. So DC Wisdom saving throw, he has to meet a 14.
I got a 13. Hell
Holy
yeah!
fuck. This is gonna be a big pivot.
He doesn't know what's
one round
happening.
of this dude.
He doesn't know what's happening as you pull something from somewhere, invoke this unknown power. Well, known to you, unknown to the world. And suddenly, there is another jaguar looking just like the guy in front of you, ready for combat, maul in hand, and like he gives you a nod.
In this timeline, a level 20 Nate had showed up and turned him to good with his actions.
Again, this is almost like the end of MK1, like Mortal Kombat 1. It's great.
I believe he acts. I don't think it's specified. Well, should I roll initiative for him, do you think? Or do you think he should just act as a summon? What would the rules say?
What does it say?
I imagine it would be like a summon where the initiative follows right after yours.
Well, he's only here for 1 round, apparently.
Yeah, if you intend to use him in combat, that's fair, I think.
Yeah.
Alright, well, he'll act independently unless you wish to do something else on your turn, Snap.
Give me his
Yeah.
entire stat block.
Can Casper do more?
Study action.
I mean, I guess that's his action right there.
Mm-hmm.
That is an action. Yeah, I think if it's 6 seconds, that means he lasts until the start or end of Cash's next turn. Would be a 6-second duration. So how would that work for combat?
Yeah, we'll say he'll disappear at the start of your turn. I think that's standard 1 round duration.
Okay.
Right?
Cashmere will
Use
just,
starter end.
Yeah.
to end his turn, will command the copy to give him a taste of his own medicine. And that'll be his turn.
He just goes, huh. So he doesn't really understand the situation he's in, but he will try. He just charges, fake Scroocha charges real Scroocha, and a spectral wolf flanks through Scroocha from the other side. And let me just check with it. Oh, I should also say, as initiative was rolled, real Scroocha, an eagle flew down and started circling him. But anyway, fake Scroocha with fake Scroocha's wolf will attack with advantage twice with his maul.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Kill.
It's an 11 and a crit. Okay, so that's 6, 12, 16, 14, 20 bludgeoning. And threatened to be knocked down. But... oh, actually, yeah, is knocked down. The wolf helps pull him down. Real Scroocha is now prone and bludgeoned by the maul. Let me
Did
check
it work?
one thing.
Hell yeah.
So you see these two, like, one's beating the other with a maul. That's awesome. Let me check one thing, though, about how this works. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, and now... next person's turn.
That's Crim. He is already large from pre-initiative. Same thing as Mage Armor, except angry. As Crim, he sees the second one show up, but he has object permanence. He knows who the real one is to attack. Remind me, the eagle is not a tangible target, right?
Yeah, it looks ghostly.
Okay. Yeah, just making sure. As Crim wordlessly dives in for an attack. Double checking something. Already prone, right? So I have advantage on this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. If that's the case, I also don't need to grab him because he's already prone. Neat. My first attack, that probably would have missed. Good thing, too. 19?
Hit.
Nice. Damage. 15. Piercing.
As you bite him, you can hear real Scrooch's snarling, angry, and this is not as effective as you would think, and you notice even the bludgeoning from the maul was not as effective as you would think.
Hmm.
Needs force.
Noted.
He's clearly a barbarian, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm already dedicated on this one on this turn, but I'll note that for next turn. As Crim, for his second attack, goes for a claw. Dual claw strikes. With advantage, which once again saved my ass, because that was a 4 on the first one. Higher number
Okay.
than the last time I hit. $14 slashing damage. I rolled low on the last one. Then his bonus...
Let me resolve that first.
Oh, okay.
As you scratch him, drawing blood, more blood, that is, something strange happens in that moment before you can keep attacking. He jitters. And you can tell this jitter is increasing. The last couple seconds, though, they've been a blur. As you dove through him, it's like his form was like shaking left and right, like it's getting blurry. It's jumping really far from him and then jumping back to where it is. And as that scratch lands, he completely like desaturates into gold and just glitches out of that spot, is gone. And you hear him on the path right where you guys were coming from a moment ago, maybe some 20 feet away. He's free of wounds. His maul's in his hand. He's not looking angry anymore. He looks calm and untouched, but he still looks aware of what's happening. And as that happens, he looks around at you all and like immediately again begins snarling and ready for more battle.
Went back in time.
How far had Crim already traveled? On his turn.
30 feet.
Ah, damn. Out of range then. Okay. In his surprise, Crim... Oh! No, that won't work. Yeah, okay. Crim flies a bit to gain some distance, and then goes a bit low in case people need some shelter. Past turn, +2 if you're near Crim.
Okay. We'll do a break on my turn.
Okay. Turners. What type of a check or roll or whatever would I need to do if I wanted to like glean if there's like any type of magical effect he is under? Would that be like a knowledge check? Would that be an investigation?
Arcana, right, to identify a spell effect. Let's see. I shall control F the rules.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure for a spell effect it would be.
Yeah, area of knowledge spells. Oh, you can Arcana skills primarily used as part of the study action to recall information pertaining to magic in some way. You can use it to, yeah, Arcana if you want to identify arcane spells and other spells.
Okay. Let's see what's going on with this guy. No. No, not one.
Not one. So what is that, like a 7?
It's he's got a +10, so that'd be 11 minus 5 would be 6.
You've never seen anything like it. That golden light rings a bell, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna try to see if it's something that I could maybe just dispel on him, but I don't want to go if I can't quite see if there is anything going on. I'll go ahead and have Turner. Would that have been an action or a bonus action If it's a study, would that work as a bonus
Studies
action?
bonus.
Okay.
I'm
I'll
just
go
thinking.
ahead and use the staff to try to cast a web on him.
Okay. Is that a dex save?
Is it strength now? I have it open. It's up. Sorry, long. Okay, yeah. So for the first time on its turn, it must succeed a strength.
Okay.
When it enters, the first time on its turn. God, I don't like how that works, but yeah, it's what we'll go with for now. And pass turn.
Okay. What time of day is it right now?
Mm,
Evening?
yeah, it's probably like sundown.
Okay.
Yeah, or early evening. Yeah, that's a good idea.
So is it fairly dark right now?
I'd say it's getting there.
Okay. I am going to attempt this then. I'm going to raise my hand into the air and attempt to create a pillar of noonday sun right over him.
Oh. Okay. Does the ability specify what? I think it's a Constitution save he'll make in this case.
Yes, I believe it is a con save.
Okay. Yeah, he winces as his pupils are blinded by the light. He does get an 18.
Yeah, that'll succeed. Then I'm going to cast Conjure Woodland Beings. So a bunch of kind of indistinct nature spirits start swarming next to him, and I am going to move them closer, and he needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, gosh.
He's making all sorts of saves.
One of the stops for this one.
12.
That is a failure. Garbage roll. He takes 12 points of force damage.
Oh, okay, that's effective.
And I will, I guess, get close to Crim and pass turn.
The web threatens to restrain him. Uh,
My DC is 15.
if he succeeds, what happens?
It's just difficult terrain.
Nothing. Oh yeah, difficult terrain.
So he got a... Oh no, he didn't. He's got a bonus from... Okay, he got an 18, so he succeeds. The web settles and like he tears through it and starts walking, but it's sticking to his paws. He's like trying to get past all these animals around him to you, Alex. And then his form, again, jitters with every step. Almost as if he wasn't expecting it. And then he's gone, and now he's 10 feet away, reformed in some dim golden light unweaving to this new spot. It doesn't seem like it's somewhere he would have been before. It wasn't like on the same line, but it's nearby, very nearby.
So he like teleported to a spot that's not a rewind?
Yes.
Oh,
Find
that's
goddamn
weird.
Tracer.
Fuck.
And again, now his wounds are gone. His face is neutral. He like studies the situation quickly and gets ready to fight. He says, though, "You can't beat me. I'll wear you thin and I'll walk away." And let's take a break.
Good idea. I'll return after these messages.
Run the ads.
We'll be back
Run
soon.
the ads.
What ads?
And for anybody joining, we have a Discord server if you'd like to join that, and then we'll see you guys in about 10 minutes.
Guys, it's puzzle fight.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
It is
Scrooge's
Wade's turn.
No, I didn't finish Scrooge's turn.
Oh, I thought he was just doing that to taunt. Okay.
He did that saying you can't beat me or whatever he said, and then he charges forward, attacking with abandon at fake Scrooge. Lands 1 hit, doing some amount of damage that I don't see a point to record because it's about to be irrelevant. It is Wade's turn.
Go, Wade.
Fuck. All right. Yeah. Again, I could go for damage or debuffs, but I don't think it's gonna do jack squat at this point. So, I have somewhat of a plan. So, as a clarifying question, Tal, when was the last time Scrooge used this ability?
On his turn.
Gotcha. All right. Wade goes up to him, raises the whistle. Dear gods, I hope this works. Gives it a quick blow. He casts Charm Mortal. And then, first actually he looks to everyone else. Stop fighting. Let me try this. And then he casts Charm Mortal. So because of this, his whistle, Scrooge has disadvantage on my Wisdom save for this.
Nice.
So beast or humanoid, Wisdom save will be charmed by you for duration 1 hour. If your allies are fighting it, repeat saving throw at the end of its turn. Any effects on a success.
12.
My DC is 16. All right.
Jeez.
And then Wade will walk. Well, Wade is going to walk up to Scrooge. Scrooge, why the hell are you attacking us? They're in they're over there.
He looks at you like suddenly like dismayed, like he's doing something bad. His face falls and his pose falls. And every split second that passes where he is getting more dismayed and he's leaving battle, this jitteriness, this sudden shakiness, this reality saying this shouldn't exist increases. And even before you can continue the rest of your actions on your turn, zoop, he is gone. He appears this time 30 feet away. We'll say kind of close to Turner, but rather far from everyone else. In a bloom of golden light. Expression neutral, kind of calm, but weapon in hand.
It's Scrooge, good to see you.
He looks over at you and bares his fangs, ready to fight.
Yeah, he remembers. I
Oh,
had a clue of that because he didn't even do a double take with seeing second Scoocha. He's just like, kill.
It was worth a try, guys.
It was a good
It did succeed.
I take it he's not still charmed.
Mechanically, he is not still charmed, but he was charmed.
It's relevant for if he has to hold concentration or not, I think.
Well, Wade will then just make some magic stones and pass turn. Probably move away from Scrooge.
Well, I think it's farther away from you anyway, but yeah.
He's already 30 feet away. Turner's nearest.
Cashmere?
Cashmere. The fake Scrooge disappears. But that doesn't matter, as with his movement speed, I believe he can probably catch up to Scrooge here. Yeah. So he's gonna run right for him. He will not try and do any tricks. He doesn't care. He's been through this whole thing before. He's gonna make him hurt anyways. We're gonna go for 2 attacks and a stunning strike.
Okay. Eat.
22. That is
Max roll, nice.
max damage.
Make a
Another
concept
hit.
or
Does that one miss? 14.
14 misses.
you might want to
Okay.
declare the stunning strike, after it hits. If that's what you're going for.
No, this will be on his third one for the bonus attack. This one will be a stunning strike. I forget it. Do I need to roll an attack roll for that?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it?
You
Okay.
use it when you hit.
Okay,
That's
got
what
it.
Will said.
That is a 2. I don't have a resolve.
But you can declare stunning strike like Will said on any time you hit, right?
Yeah, you don't have to declare stunning strike here.
Yeah, so I was saying when we hit, you should probably just declare it if you plan to do it.
Can I say it was for the first one?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Con save. Oh, yeah, con save. It says
Con
11.
save? Oh, I love
Yeah,
con save.
there's literally just to kind of clarify, there's like no reason not to, because if it if it succeeds and they fail their save, then you get advantage on any subsequent attacks. So like there's no
Okay,
reason
yeah.
not to do it as soon as possible.
Okay, got it.
In this case, he makes a feral roar as he throws it off with a 25.
Still, movement speed is halved, I think.
Oh. Okay.
Well, at least until he jitters out of where he is.
Your attack still throws it off balance. Movement speed is halved. First attack made against it with speed is halved. This way has advantage.
After doing that, he looks pretty jittery, but it's not going anywhere else.
That was my turn.
Okay. Crim's had a whole few seconds. In like 6 seconds, this dude teleported like 3 times. So that's real weird. Even in what might be feral rage of some kind, Crim still has enough faculties to try to study what the hell is going on. With anything he could possibly deduce. Those golden threads seem familiar. It reminds him a lot of Cash's power.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying a bonus study action specifically on that ability of some kind. What do I roll for this?
I really should have thought of this ahead of time. And this harkens back to that conversation. I think at least this time I'll allow all the spellcasting ones. Nature, Religion, Arcana. I think that's all of them.
Thankfully, I have a +6 in all of those. Does Crim have any guess on which of those routes would be the most useful? Or okay, Arcana it is.
Nah.
21.
21. This seems to be probably a singular manifestation of a singular time power. You're trying to figure out how it works?
Crim, how it works could be useful, but the big thing that Crim is focusing on is how it can be thwarted or otherwise worked around. Specifically, the angles he's considering is, can it be exhausted? Can it be suppressed? Can it be tricked?
It seems that when things happen to him, they push towards a certain threshold, and then passing that threshold triggers an all or nothing effect, reaction, not in the mechanical sense. How it can be thwarted, he doesn't seem to be concentrating on it. He certainly used it a lot, and from your experience with powers like this, what happens when you use them a lot? Oh, okay. Could probably extrapolate there. But there's nothing else I can tell you, I think, that you would glean from beyond these observations.
Okay.
Yeah.
For now, Crim will be flying overhead to like maybe look like a tantalizing target as he does a breath burst attack, which is his normal ranged one, so it's not a big deal. But he just wants to see how this goes. High number
What if
to
we
hit.
did-
That was a 19.
What if we kill him slowly?
Does it go down? Might be worth checking that. Between when Cash had done his barrage that kind of missed a lot, did it seem like that jittering is going down, or is it about steady, not really going down further? Does it only go up, basically?
If you used a bonus action to try and measure it, you could get more precision. All I can tell you right now is he's still jittery.
Okay. That'll be for someone else to check if they have time. Otherwise, yeah, I will now be... We're level 7 now? Neat! Okay.
I know, right?
Right. Rolling damage. This one is radiant damage. Sorry, it's been a while since I've used this. Okay, cool. This is our D8. We have 9 radiant damage.
Okay, you blast him. It's fully effective. He doesn't look as wounded as that first slew of attacks, but he's wounded, jittery.
Pass turn.
Alright, well, let's go ahead and give it a try. I'm going to try to dispel whatever this thing is that's allowing him to do this. For the if it matters for the rules of dispel, any spell or target whose casting rank is equal or 2 or lower, then the spell ends. If it's a rank higher, then I gotta make a spell casting ability check. DC 10 plus the spell casts rank.
I guess there is an effect. He's obviously jittering. I will say, as you try and incant this spell, choosing a target, either a creature or a magical effect, I will freely say there isn't a active magical effect on him to be dispelled, but you could dispel him if you wish.
Like, could he?
Well, you
hold
can
your action
target the magical effect. You can't. It can only dispel a spell.
Okay, then I guess it just won't work.
Wait. So it doesn't work on magical effects, or no?
Only spells.
All right.
Well, it says you can choose a magical effect within range. and
Right. So you could choose. I want to end the. The target is under multiple spells. I want to end this specific one. Or here's this area that's under a spell. You can target that instead of, like a fog cloud, for example.
So if I was under like haste and fog cloud and enhanceability, you target it, and then all the spells that meet the criteria go away.
Well, so if you were under, let's say, like Longstrider, haste,
Yeah.
and whatever, you can dispel all of those by targeting the creature.
Yeah. Okay, then yeah.
Or
you're
you can
welcome.
pick one of them.
I think you'd get your best bang for your buck targeting him.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I'll give it a try, because, I mean, obviously just beating the shit out of him isn't really doing anything, and I wasted my knowledge check. What would you say that can be done with the bonus action?
Or like try to measure the jitteriness, as that was Nama's idea.
Oh yeah, to measure if it seems to go down when he's not being fucked with, basically.
Well, I guess I don't really know what else to do with my bonus action, so I'll try something like that first, and then I'll do the dispel. What
Okay,
kind of a check would
perception
that
me.
be? Oh. Okay, I'm not.
Oh.
I'm not good at those. I thought it might be like a knowledge check.
For what it's worth, I'm not good at those either.
+1. Let's just see what happens. 16 total.
Let's check again.
So you look at him, you study this thing that is occurring to him from him, and yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't want to use the comparison of like missing no or something that's like a computer glitch, but you get the distinct sense that his form, how he is right now, is like incompatible with this situation or the world or how it should be or could be. Like there's a wrongness is what you're perceiving about him. It is not going up or down in this moment, and it did seem to increase when Crim blasted him with the light.
Alright, so it's not something that we can slow kill.
Does it go down when he uses the effect?
Yes, it resets.
So, what's wrong about him is we're beating the shit out of him.
You'll have to do a spellcasting ability thing for the spell match.
Okay. I'm gonna give myself a 19.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
That's so cool.
I just wanted
19 plus your int bonus, I think.
so that'd be a total of 23. A 19.
That's as high as you can get without a nat 20.
Yeah, 19 will beat a level 9 spell, so it's like yeah, even without the modifier.
Basically,
it's
it's basically the question then becomes: is this beyond the bounds of spell casting?
Yeah.
Which, considering the nature of it, might be a god's thing. Let's find out.
You use this ability, you invoke time yourself. Oh, time battle, whoa!
Whoa!
So at least what I was trying to do.
You see the future. You get this insight of what is going to happen, and you take in the circumstances, try to make it as best as it could possibly be, refine it the second time around, and you nail this dispel. Use all your arcane might nearly, except for very coincidental perfect situations, aka not 20s. And call a powerful dispelling effect. And nothing happens to him.
Pass turn.
Still jittery. It seems this is not a powerful spell.
Alex is up.
Oh, it is my turn. Okay, so I misread the spell a little bit. It actually creates an emanation from me. Contra Woodland beings, that is.
Oh, okay.
So, what I am going to do, I'm going to cast Longstrider on myself. And then I am going to... Yeah, it's not working, but I can't think of anything else to try to do. I'm gonna walk up close to him and put him within the emanation. He needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
4.
Uh, 16 force damage.
Okay. That increases the jitteriness, and he blinks away, this time 150 feet, in an entirely different direction. I'm not going to repeat myself, but it's the same sort of thing.
Okay.
Is he eventually just going to forget that we're get out of our line of sight and just forget the fight's happening?
He's not
Well, not
forgetting.
forget, but just like be so fucking far away that we can just run.
He might forget. I don't know. Depends on how far, I guess. 50 feet.
Anyway, that will be my turn.
Okay. He looks good as new. Although, with that perception check you did earlier, Turner, I will say you also notice one other thing. There's no blood on his fingers anymore. On his turn, he says, I've done this song and dance. I am sorry, really am. This isn't my favorite kind of fight. I'm leaving. You can vent your frustrations if you wish. But I'm leaving. I'm sure we'll see each other again as this world continues to transform. It seemingly just for the thrill of it, he'll run and attack the nearest person, well, 2 bad rolls against you, Cashmere. You're able to dodge them both. And he keeps going with that momentum and doesn't run, but doesn't walk. Just like a kind of quicker walk, like try to fend off attacks, still defending himself. Just tries to keep leaving the way he was going. Now, I don't think this is a combat that should be prolonged to the ends of the earth, but if any of you has a different type of strategy you wish to employ on your turn, we can kind of zoom out a bit and you could tell me what it is and we could determine how it resolves.
And I think at this point, Wade's content to let him go.
Oh, go ahead.
Does Cash do anything first, if we're following initiative order, or just vaguely for a bit?
At most, he'd try and grab him. And, restrain him.
The instant you apply force to restrain him, he is gone. Like 100 is 0 to 100. You've limited his ability to move, and now he's free to move again.
I see.
Almost like reaction speed. But until you get that restraint, like, yeah, he's strong, he's angry, riled up, like, he's just like other combatants you faced until that thing happens.
Cashmere will otherwise just grit his teeth in frustration. Why is this way to fucking happen? It's his turn.
Yeah, Crim would have tried the same, noticing that he seems to only teleport laterally, which makes him wonder, hey, what if I bring him up? And he would try to carry him that way, but if it stops upon being grappled in any way, the teleport would probably still happen. Because one thing that he is noticing is that he's teleporting further and further away, which Crim is pattern recognizing as maybe eventually he can teleport underground and get caught himself, is what he's thinking. But Crim's not explaining any of this. He is wordlessly still pursuing this guy.
After an attempt or 2 or 3, you are able to grab him and lift him aloft. It doesn't seem to be the act of lifting him aloft that does this, but the act of, again, grabbing him, preventing him from moving. And he does warp, this time 40 feet from you, like at the base of a tree, indeed, on the ground. And I will say as well, there's this feeling of, like, tension that rapidly increases from, like, he is free, he is fighting, and when you grab him, it's like a rubber band that's being stretched too tight, and then boom, it's released and he warps.
His claws weren't bloodied anymore, so were his claws bloodied from hitting one of us, or am I mistaken?
No, I think that was from killing the bird.
Were they bloody after the first time he teleported? Or rewound, or whatever it is he's doing?
Maybe you don't notice this at the moment, but later on the reflection in the battle, you would recall, the first time he did it, the blood was gone.
Okay, because that actually does influence how I want to handle this situation.
I don't know if you would have that info. I think it's a very subtle detail. Turner was, like, spending time to inspect it. I mean, if you want to say that you would also do that, your character would do that, then sure.
Intelligence-based, make it an intelligence saving throw of if you notice that in the moment.
It's kind of garbo. That is a 16 on perception.
That's what Turner got.
Yeah, I'd say you'd notice that then at some point.
I think he's going further and further back in time. If we keep this up, we might be able to get him to drop this power.
Okay.
Yeah, or maybe enough to bring her back?
I think that might have already happened.
All right, with that in mind,
But there's
then,
more of them.
I mean, with that in mind, yeah, Turner would just try different, either immobilization or attacking things to try to trigger that effect.
Wait, at that moment, could Wade? Let me double check something. Well, sorry. As an action. All right, that perished in the vicinity during that time as power. Could Wade use an action at that call from Alex to try and summon the spirit of the lady?
I think we're too far away from her because that's back in the inn.
Yeah, you have to return to the place that she died, unless you want to risk her being killed here for some reason.
All right, it's fine.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, that's all I can think of is just different things to try. Restraining seems to have like the quickest effect, right? Because like even a simple like slow down from the web seemed to do it.
Yeah.
Though I don't really have like a lot of stuff that would that web is from that, so I don't have anything else that can do that. But just attacking him.
Absolutely. So we can say you keep doing that. I'm not going to have us roll con saves as this combat drags on and on. He keeps warping. It's psychologically frustrating. You're expending spells, your energy. Maybe minutes are passing at this point. But sooner or later, you will tire, even if you don't spend all your, resources. You might not have the will to keep fighting. You might be able to follow him. But yeah, you do get him to trigger this countless times. He always appears the same after it happens.
Important. There's no escalating pattern to how far away he teleports. It just seems to be random between a range.
Yeah, it's all more or less like between 200 feet. It's usually on the ground and not like right in front of someone's face or something.
Then I would basically just, on one of Turner's turns, he would have just, cast Long Strider on those who'd be doing the most pursuing. But yeah, just that way they can do that more.
And Namakik, should give me an investigation check about that question.
Just plain old investigation? Okay.
I think so.
Ooh, that's not the best roll. Is it? 15 flat. No, wait, I'm dumb. 17.
That's enough to deduce one fairly simple fact. He always appears in a place of safety. He doesn't appear like, right in front of an upraised tree root or like unstable terrain or next to a combatant.
Oh, I just got flashbacks to my own goddamn fic.
Oh, really? Good times.
This is a lot like that Alakazam character, I'm guessing.
I know exactly how we're supposed to beat this guy, and we do not have the resources for it.
You're gonna hug him, aren't you?
I haven't read that. That's awesome.
No.
Okay, yeah, Long Strider, you're chasing him, getting tired. He just keeps warping and walking. He doesn't seem like he wants to waste breath. Even though he has plenty of breath, he's not growing tired. Talking. He keeps going.
Alright. Before he goes, can we have just time to say something to him?
Plenty of time.
Alright, Wade'll take 40 gold and throw it onto the ground in front of him. And leave us be. I'd use more, but I don't think you're worth that much.
Well.
A parting roast.
He gives a snort. That's maybe a chuckle.
Alright. Well, so we're letting him go at this point, right?
Someone's going to have to restrain Crim.
Yeah,
Cashmere
he's just gonna keep going and going until he falls over.
Minutes pass and we see our heroes a little farther from town. Where did the time go? You really go this far? There's like a stream nearby. Saliva at your mouth, Crim.
Well,
Cashmere breathing hard.
Yeah,
sure
for what it's worth, Crim is out of overdrives. He used all 3 here.
Yeah, question. How far away were you from the end?
You were like 1/8 of a mile when it happened. You fought him.
Alright, well, Wade will... God, how many feet is a mile again?
5,200, so...
You're like 500 feet away.
Yeah,
alright, well, exactly good for Dimension Door. Alright, so our theory is that she's not dead, right?
No, she's definitely dead.
Well, I mean, the hope is that if, time rewound enough, it might have those type of effects. I doubt it, but I don't know. That's what we're
If
trying
time
to hope
rewound,
for.
we wouldn't have remembered this encounter.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
we're immune to that. But regardless, have my doubts, but it's worth checking.
Yeah, alright, Wade will... We're long resting anyway. He'll Dimension Door into the room where she died. Is she
Suddenly appear where there's an active investigation.
Warp there, and you step through it, going through space trees in the building walls. And you arrive to a corpse and a crowd of people talking, babbling, that abruptly shut up when you appear. It's gonna... Military cheetah, exhausted, uniform disheveled. One person holds a broom at you. They're kind of wearing the uniforms of the staff of this place. She's still very much dead.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to save her, but I guess I was too late. I'm sorry. I need to go, and he'll run out and try and rejoin.
Good out. Yeah. One of them follows you suspiciously. But if you look back, they'll cower away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're just sick and angry mob on this guy. Have him do this for days.
Yugal, that is not far from the solution the very difficult solution I am considering. We need some crazy resources to let that happen, though. But yeah, Crim, during that entire fight, Crim has not said a word. And eventually, when everyone else has collapsed, like, a small sliver of reason is still there for him to, like, not pursue. But he's, like, prowling near his allies like a caged animal, staring at him as he walks further away, as everyone else patches themselves up.
Well, if it's any consolation, we never had a chance to stop him.
Cashmere is splayed out on the ground, looking up at the sky, and I presume it's like night by this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to keep going. We could stop him somehow. Just a bit more.
Being task.
Crim, would we even know that? Crim takes like one step, but then like looks down as if noticing something. His prismatic claws and scales on his paws are bloody. Not possibly from flecks of that dude's blood, but more than that, it seemed like from all the clawing that he had done, he had strained his own claws, and some of them are like partially out of their fingers. Like he like what happens if you dig your nails raw for way too long. That's what's been going on, and like when he looks at it, it doesn't register as pain to him. He's kind of just staring at it. Then he just watches them go. He still says nothing.
Why are these powers so useless for us? But anyone you run across, they're all but godlike.
As it goes. Bad men do terrible things and the world moves on.
They weren't even bestowed upon him in the same way that all the others were.
What'll it take? What'll it take?
The only way I can think of to do it. His personal timeline moves back further and further every time we trigger that. But we'd have to maintain this for days, weeks.
All we can hope is that we set him back at least enough to be of an annoyance.
Either that or we just steal the power outright. Somehow.
We need to talk to Devon about this.
Well, first he needs to find a set of balls.
Yeah. What can he do? I don't think he can do anything here. Especially if we can't.
Well, still have a Dragon Resurrection Club to find, do we not? I could use a nap right now.
If it's okay with you all, say that many minutes pass where eventually some more willing than others, maybe as the cold of the night sets in, wild animals making noise, definitely his Scrooge's trail, but become more and more difficult to follow. Rain starts. There's a bit of a blur in your fatigue. People are asking you questions. Like there's a bit of an interrogation. It's a crime scene. There's authorities at the inn. No one's blaming you. No one's trying to bring you to a trial. Crimson Lightwing is here. But you certainly are demanded to explain what's going on, and I assume that you would, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
we take lead on that.
Yeah, I mean, we have two things supporting our story. The first is that there is no way we'd look this scuffed trying to beat up one little bird. And the second one is, we have some inherent street cred for this of like, this is what happened. And there is no way there are not witnesses for this dude who came out covered in blood on his hand and stuff. Like, I saw that. That was weird as fuck.
Yeah.
So
there are a couple other witnesses.
Yeah.
So like, this strange guy who came out of town, like, not with this devil may care attitude. Huston buys in, like, oh no, I couldn't vouch for them, blah, 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 so can these people.
I will say that at one point throughout all this, where Cashmere is so tired and so done, he will use his power to make a copy of himself just to explain what happened.
For 6 seconds.
For 6 seconds, yes.
His own ally is Twin.
Bit of an out-of-body experience. Okay. Let me check one thing about this power.
Yeah, he's not thinking about it right now. He just, like, I don't feel like doing this right now. You do it.
Well,
Is that what his clone says?
That's what he says to his
you can't
clone.
clone of yourself, and he just pushes you to do it anyway.
Clone of myself.
Gotta be careful of overusing it, though.
This is the third time. Is it third time? Third or fourth time he's used it. I think it's third time. He used it once
Second
on
time.
Wade.
Alex has dispelled the pillar of sunlight in the middle of town.
Oh, okay.
Not in the middle
How-
of town. It was out. It was in the town outskirts.
Right.
Okay. I'll get to that in a sec. Let me resolve this. Roleplay amongst yourselves. One moment.
Upon the group having to like return after like realizing pursuing it is not going to do anything, Crim's still not talking. But he has enough presence of mind that he rummages through his message boards, and he puts the one that he had for a while. I'm on duty, no petting. And then he marches back to town.
Okay. Cashmere, and I will say this out of game.
Okay.
This is not something that I'm asking of. No. This is an out of game phenomenon, not something that Snap is choosing to do.
Yes.
Snap, I'm going to DM you something.
Oh boy. I've made a
And-
choice.
Uh-oh.
Sort of.
I was waiting to see what happens when we overdo this.
Let's see what happens.
I definitely tried to use it, let it go. Mm-mm.
Always with the one reckless thing.
And it's when he's just not thinking about it. He's just like, whatever. I don't care.
You might. I mean, yes, you all just went through a frustrating ordeal, very tired, but even that night and into the next day, all of you know how Cashmere normally is. You would sense him perhaps acting a bit differently. But I'll leave it to you, Snap, to do with that information how you will in RP. Any questions, concerns?
No, I think I got it. I think, just for right now, I'll say, like, in the evening, like when they're going to bed and such, Cashmere, like, it kind of goes back to his old ways a little bit, and he says, like, I want to go sleep somewhere else right now. Like, please don't talk to me. And he has a bit of there's a bit of an edge to his voice when he says it too.
Minus the "don't talk to me" part, Turner was kind of more along the same page of like, yeah, but don't necessarily want to sleep at this crime scene. But yeah, he'll kind of give him the space.
Okay, and one other thing too before we continue in session. Alex,
Yes.
how long do you think you would have left that light shining?
Not very long at all.
Oh yeah, because once he was out of it, there was kind of no point.
Like a round or two, or like a minute or two, or
It was probably gone before the end of his next turn.
okay.
Kind of
You
hard not
feel-
to notice the thing is still there.
You feel normal. And I will say, I guess, based on our discussion previously out of game, if you had maybe right as you kind of like, oh, this isn't working, making it go away, you would begin to feel like a strain, a strange yearning from your personality, your emotions. If you would have kept doing it longer than one round.
Darn, I thought I could outsmart it by never choosing the same time of day twice.
Well,
Okay. You've just been finished, interrogated, and there's still things going over the way, but it's getting late now, and people are going to finish this in the morning. The authorities, that is.
Yeah, I'll be up to wake up tomorrow, find a dragon club. That seems nice and wholesome.
you cannot find Crim.
Oh,
If you were to retrace his steps and know Crim well enough, he went to his home, briefly washed his claws, put some bandages on his paws, and then headed to the library. He's going to spend the night there, looking through books.
Okay.
Do I roll for exhaustion?
Let's see.
do we all actually? That's a good point.
Well, this is specifically because Crim is not taking a long rest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it's
He'll
only
take a short rest, but not a long rest.
if you go 24 hours, that's a lot of rest. Yeah, so if you stay up the whole night, you will roll at the end of the night to see how it affects you until your next long rest.
Okay.
So please roll.
Turner, unfortunately, does
is
not
that
have the luxury. I think it's
Is that a Constitution?
Yeah.
It's a DC 10 Constitution saving throw.
Oh yeah, I definitely passed that.
Don't have the privilege to do that just because I got to get those spell slots that probably off camera got consumed.
Faintly, Crim, you probably like, some part of you was like, oh, that's a nice perk of being in this body. I could have used this when I was staying up as I was almost dead in my old body.
Yeah. But Crim is spending this time looking through the library, researching any and all forms of this kind of time magic whatsoever. Particularly from more recent things, even newsletters that would be in the library on stuff like this. Just trying to understand as much as he can about that, as well as possibly who used to have a power like this.
Okay, give me investigation with advantage, please, because you're spending a whole darn night in here. No distractions.
He's cramming.
21.
Empty one. You break it up into segments. Where should I look? Here, here, here. You parse. You get all the things. You start. The desk starts accumulating with books on the left. The ones you've glanced through. The ones that have some hope. The ones that don't. You're organized about it. You find references to theoretical fields of magic, like chronomancy, and maybe a spell that could stop time, and nothing that seems really achievable. You are familiar with the spell, commonly now categorized as haste or slow. That does seem to mess with temporal magic, or temporal capabilities. You don't find anything like what this guy just did, nor what Turner can do, nor what the power of the times of day, any of these abilities you guys have seen and maybe accrued. When you start looking, okay, was there some person, some place? Does this have a place in history, like historical events that had to do with time? You said a 21? I mean, you'd find some particularly long-lived people, people who were masters of their body and could kind of slow down aging, people who used primal magic to extend and manipulate life. Is it explicitly time, though? That's kind of hard to prove. None of these people was ever like, oh yeah, we have a peer-reviewed study of how it works, and they admitted this. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't get
What-
too much, I think.
What he's specifically checking for, again, is the recent news story section of the library, like
Oh,
newspapers from local areas and things like that, for any hint of phenomena that would match someone who seems to just vanish in golden threads. That's such a specific thing
yeah.
that he's sure that if it was seen, it would appear in a newspaper that
Mhm.
might have flowed to this library and
Yeah.
its wealth of knowledge, even if it's just from the week. In fact, especially if it was from within the week. So on and so forth.
You have a feeling that if it isn't here already, probably there will soon be a lot of news about this here. But news flows at the speed of news and the people who bring it, especially to this small-ish town, a peninsula. And I regret to inform you there would not be any news about this. Scroocha, and you would hear, also putting this together with all the conversations at the inn, the murder scene and stuff, like, no, he just arrived in town. He wasn't here first. Not even a day.
Yeah, he was more looking for like a person who formerly had this power. Or an example of it, but same difference really on like not finding anything on it.
I'll double check my notes to make sure of that, but I don't think so, but I'll write it down. I could always retcon that. I don't think so, though.
And everyone else on the team, Crim's not making it any particular secret of where he went, so anyone who would like retrace his steps would easily find Crim in the library. But he says not a word.
Alex is probably gonna find a different inn to spend the night in.
I think each of the party members are going to do that, so they might just be in like four different ones, or maybe two of them happen to get the same one or whatever.
Oh, he's not doing it to get away from the rest
I
of the
know.
party. He's doing it to get away from the crime scene.
I know that I'm kind of getting at the same thing. I'm like, they're probably not really coordinating where they're going. They might just happen to at the same place, or maybe just happen to all find different inns.
Yeah.
Everyone's
At the complete other end of the boardwalk, you find the spicy salsa, but it's not a food reference. It's two avians standing, intimately close as they are frozen silhouette dancing. It's a little less tacky or luxurious, depending on how you view the Crimson Rhythm. And you certainly are able to get some late night rooms.
I would do one small thing with Wave. That's all right.
But
It'll probably wait till like a pretty late hour before he goes to sleep, like 1 or 2 a.m. or such. Like for like when most people will be sound asleep. He just lets with his whistle. It just shouts. It just says, "Wake up, Scroocha." Sending.
Oh, I thought you were going to use the ghost power. Okay.
I mean, he's not dead.
No, I just to annoy the fuck out of him, I'm gonna wake
Hold
him
on,
up with a sending.
Wow.
The power of
Okay, let's see how
spite.
this works. That's really true. Does he get to say no? Like send a voicemail?
I think it
No,
just
he
wakes him
doesn't.
up, and then he gets to respond if he chooses to.
we get a Scroocha voicemail message.
Not here right now, but I'll kill you if I see it. There was a beat of silence, and then stop that.
No, wait, just lights up cigarettes. It's not much, but it's something.
Wow.
So. Alright. Next day, all are rested and refreshed, except for Crim.
For Crim, in morning when he knows, assuming his father has the same kind of like work schedule, around morning time, during breakfast, Crim would appear at his home and see his father probably preparing breakfast. and he would nod at him, probably be quite asked like, "Hey, what was wrong? Everything all right?" And he will quietly approach his father, push his head against his shoulder, cry, and explain what happened.
Oh.
Oh,
It would have been the
Yeah.
first thing he said all night, morning.
do you think Crim, when he was younger, had a lot of moments like this about his circumstances?
Easily. This is probably the first time in a while when it was for someone else necessarily. Although,
Yeah.
Oh shit. There would have been one other time when Crim seemed this devastated about something, but Crim wouldn't remember it.
Yeah. So does the things you would expect him to do. He, he listens to your story, but you could tell from his, yeah, like he knows what happened already. He's making breakfast a bit more quickly than usual today. He's got somewhere to be. But yeah, it's comforting. He's your dad.
Yeah,
after all.
Crim's not offended. He knows the deal. He just wanted to talk about it so he could sort out his thoughts that had been stirring in him for all night.
And watching him leave, he is heading to the boardwalk.
Yep.
Damn. We don't have a Glenn in the party, so like no one like who people would all go to let out their their troubles.
Yeah, that one's super touchy-feely.
I mean, Crim kind of is. He's just...
Yeah.
He doesn't have the wisdom or insight to back that up.
Shall we say another day passes with some silk selling, some recovery, maybe some research and stuff, or do you guys want to take off ASAP?
I know Turner's vote
I'm
would be to
probably-
take off, but that's just one vote.
Question. Can I, by chance, buy a spell scroll of Gentle Repose?
What spell level?
2.
Good.
Yeah. I think that's borderline for a city like this, but we'll say yes, they do have that available. Like the third magic-related shop you're able to find.
You have Ruify on your spell list, don't you?
Yes,
only
but
works
I don't
after a
want to
minute.
I don't want to carry it around prepared all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, in case we run into someone else that we want to try to... Okay,
Or one of us, or anything like that.
good point.
Alright, well, yeah. Wade will be fine with staying or going. Maybe slightly partial to staying for unknown reasons.
I'll say, in Cashmere's case, there's not any particular time when it happens. It takes a little bit, but he just shows up at one point, seemingly out of nowhere, like he was always there. He's just behind the group. He looks tired. Maybe not as tired as Crim, but definitely pretty tired. He's a little quiet. He won't really look anyone in the eyes, and he still has that edge to his voice. Doesn't really seem like he's in a very good mood, just in general.
You gentlemen need more time?
Don't. Not right now.
It's always the mission. You, Crim? Need more time?
I could go either way. Crim looks not as emotionally tired anymore as physically tired. As he says, I spent a lot of time trying to research in the library for things. If for traveling, I might need a nap during that part. I didn't find anything.
I don't think Huston would have an issue with you staying in one of the caravans for part of it.
Yeah, I've bred myself in work before. I understand.
Our Are you alright, Cash? You seem a little different.
No, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. He still won't look Crim in the eyes.
Crim kind of slowly tilts his head a little. He's real tired, but he's also a friend. Are you sure? Something seems a little off.
Yeah, I'm fine. Nothing's wrong. Don't worry about it. He's very quick to respond to that. Almost snapping about it.
Crim looks at the others at that point.
Picking me
Uh-oh.
up.
Oh,
Sorry,
there we
Juan.
go. No, for a second you just were muted. Try again.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh. I think we all can admit it. It's never gets any easier when someone dies on your watch. We push on.
That wasn't necessarily our watch, but he's kind of like glancing at Cashmere, and then I thought it'd be Wade first, but
Cashmere actually gives him a look after that. What does that mean?
Wade also gives him a look.
Crim's is still oblivious. He noticed that Cash was off, but he didn't put together why.
just speculating.
Ah. See.
Speculating? I've been doing a lot of that lately.
Well, it's definitely not going to be Turner, I'll tell you that much.
Ash just blows it off.
Or Alex.
Whatever. I don't know. Let's move on.
Yeah. Is our objective the same?
We don't really have many leads, and we still need to figure out more of this. Karifi might still be where we have to go. From there, we'll see.
And I'll admit, I'm mildly concerned that my friends might be. There's always a chance they could have run into some trouble like this too, and I would still like to go to Karifi, yes.
Okay. Perhaps later in the morning than you would typically set out. Huston seems ready to go as well. He's still on board. He's cautious and a bit more tender with you guys after what you went through, and says multiple times he's eager to, lend an ear and whatever. Like, let's take our time. We're really not in too much rush. But off you go into this drizzly gray morning.
Crim will make sure to say goodbye to his father and stuff before leaving.
Oh.
And all that. He'll be in a slightly better mood by then, and he'll say it's off to adventure. He'll send letters as usual, and that's it.
Okay.
It
Good thing you said that, because if you hadn't, you would have received passive-aggressive letters from all the neighbors leaving without saying goodbye. Okay. Okay, the following is a big exposition block. Feel free to interrupt with questions, react. Okay. And I'm mindful of the time. No, we're almost at end of session, but I think we can get a little bit into this. So, looking at the map, which I know we've been on this page the whole session. From Treble Town, yeah, I mean, the way to get to Karifi from here commonly is not to hike through the jungle roads, but to take a boat to the coastline closest to Karifi. So there's some brief sailing. Yeah. You would find there is an industrial dock-heavy sort of place called Lackard's Port. It seems a shot, one of those things from the scatter that rent the earth from Karifi eastward. This big shot has been transformed into a canal for small vessels to transport goods to and from this seaport to Karifi. But walking or booking passage.
Let's make lemonade out of lemons.
It takes a total of, with the caravan, about 8 days to get from Troubletown to Lackard's Port through this business canal where there's more and more industrial-looking stuff the more you go west towards Karifi to get to Karifi.
Does Cash's demeanor
Ah.
seem to change at all throughout that time?
How much time has passed?
8 days so
8
far.
days?
8 days? Okay. So, yeah, at the start of the trip, he's still very snippy. He doesn't really want to talk to anybody at first, like the first day or two. And then as time goes on, he mellows out. He starts talking a bit more, looking people in the eyes. And then, like, by the time the full days pass, he's downright apologizing for how he's been acting. It seems
I
like...
would, upon it no longer being like a touchy thing, I think people would ask, like, all right, what happened?
Everyone wouldn't even
Bunny
really...
heat.
Well, when asked that, he would actually, like, after a bit of time, he would, like, jokingly say, like, no, not right now. But no, he would say he just doesn't really know. It seems like... But he would say, like, he started kind of feeling that way after he conjured up his clone that one time, and he's kind of been reluctant to do the same thing since.
Yeah. Turner would be kind of glad that he came to that realization himself.
Crim notes down. He specifically asks Cash to recount all instances of him using it, and Cash knows at this point what Crim looks like when he's doing this. He's very academic right now. He's trying to pattern seek to see if there's something that they can follow if it happens again. Not necessarily from him, but from others.
Mm-hmm.
And Cashmere will point out that he's only really used it a few times. Once with Wade, back when he first got it. And then he used it a couple times after, or like, in that day that the Scorcher thing happened.
Yeah. Turner would mention that, yeah, that is a lot of, only a few times, but he also was like the one who most recently got his power, and it was just like, how many days travel was it from the monastery to travel? Like, just a few?
Like 8 or 7 or something.
Oh, really? Okay. But yeah, even still, it's like
Before.
the most in rapid succession, and that's why he was kind of like thinking that, probably what happened with Wade first, because he's a bit more nonchalant about it.
And one more thing. And Cashmere would also just say, like, he just wasn't happy with how he acted for a while. Looking back on it. I mean, and he wasn't really even thinking about it in the moment. And he's kind of reluctant to use the power now, I'd say. Continue.
We're just glad to have you.
Could have been a worse lesson to learn.
And based on our session 0 discussions about mental corruption, DM versus PR, PC, like controlling stuff, I'm willing to share exactly now that you've been through it and with some reflection, especially from Crim, what is the trigger for what happened. Or if you want it to be more of a you figure it on your own, what do you want?
Are you saying to, like, explain, like, what is the trigger for each of these, or for, like, what the trigger for this instance was?
This instance.
I mean, I don't mind. Yeah, sure.
My assumption is that it's because it was used multiple times in very quick succession.
And
That would have been mine and Crim's guess without me rolling an intelligence check or something.
That also
Bingo.
speculates.
So, sorry, I didn't ever say anything. Yeah, you would know, and now that you're attentive to how it made you feel, Cashmere, it will begin to happen again if you use it more than once every 2 full and meaningful combat encounters.
I see.
Which is an out-of-game extrapolation, obviously. You could, it's not much tension your body, your mind's going through or something. But yeah, it's just too much frequency in too short a time.
Is that the same for the more social abilities?
You don't know. This is just for Cashmere's thing right now.
Once every 2 full combats. Okay.
I
Got
wonder if there's anything left of the scripture we met at the start, or if he's just a rabid dog now.
Read and find out.
Oh
Okay. You
yeah, and
mentioned-
he and
You
It's like
emerge. Sorry, go ahead.
it's like Scorchu went through a nirvana moment where he's no longer aware of it and the power just does it for him. Rather than it's like you go past you're being controlled by the power into you're being occupied by the power. You're not even in control anymore. It's just there.
It's like Peter
This is
McGuire.
wild
Like,
speculation on my part, but it's the only way I can square the circle of him being relatively sane and not even aware of his power. Just a guess. Also, he has like
Venom.
tons of
Venom
them, so
suit.
who knows? None of it works.
Bongo.
It's like the Venom suit. Like you wear the Venom suit from Spider-Man too long, the suit starts wearing you.
Yeah.
Okay. Emerging from the jungle corridor, you enter the Karifi lands, named at some point for the city of Karifi, the biggest city in the known world. It's a vast plain, these Karifi lands right now, green and gold this time of year. There's innumerable farms and ranches, and you see a blot of dark color on the horizon that will grow and grow until the buildings of Karifi are visible.
Where are we on the map?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
You see strange shapes on some of the roofs. Those historically minded would know these are the roof guns used in the final battle against the Outclassed. Those buildings so tall you couldn't believe, so many. How'd they make them so tall? Karifi's golden era before the scatter. You walk past friendly farmer after friendly farmer, feral farm animal after another, and then the city kind of gradually swallows you. If you imagine having lived in smaller cities without a proper downtown your whole life, and then you're in downtown New York City, that's probably how it feels entering Karifi if you've never been here before. Why is my alarm going off? Oh, yeah. And there's people, so many people. It gets more and more populated as you go further in. They say that a fifth of the Bose population, 20%, is in this city. And yet, even so, there's plenty of space. Most of these buildings have to be largely uninhabited, just emptied husks, since the deaths of so many at the scatter. Although at this point, the ones that are inhabited are more or less repainted and fixed up, and the ones that are like architecturally unstable, bulldozed down. So it's had some work done on it.
Do bulldozers exist?
Not the machines, but they still
Yeah.
demolished,
Got it, I
perhaps.
get it.
Yeah.
Some art of preservation.
I've asked this an awful lot of times, but anytime I think of that, I'm like, what's the etymology of this now? Is this relevant for the world?
That was-
We researched those cannons in Officers Academy. I was jealous. Or this place described as a corpse that still breathes.
Although, from what you learned and read about, it's breathing a little bit more. Still kind of a corpse, though. There's sights and sounds and smells in plenty. You see some bowls, perhaps the ones that did the bulldozing. You see automated trams going through tracks in the stone streets. Every intersection has a signpost that tells you where you are in this metropolis labyrinth. And there's some of the buildings have these platforms that go up and down, ferrying people instead of stairs. There's like street food from all different parts of the world. It's definitely a melting pot. And every few blocks, every neighborhood perhaps, has a different vibe. Like one you pass, there's a bunch of canines walking bare pawed, hanging out on stoops and stairs. There's laundry lines between buildings with laundry. Then you're passing by a business-like district with fountains and people in fancy overcoats and gleaming buttons, crustaceans and turtles. And then there's like
Chinatown, Little Italy.
Yeah. And there's a school with a bunch of young ones and waiting parents.
Always quite a sight. Almost as good as Mamelon.
Imagine Turner would have probably walked through these streets at least quite a few times in his life. Not a huge amount of time, not enough to call himself like a resident, but they've definitely passed through quite a few times.
Despite his supposed travels, during his early time as a dragon, Crim had never gone to Karifi, specifically because when he first tried, like maybe he went to like Karifi lands prior, but then like he saw the city and he got all wigged out of, I have no idea how to conduct myself yet. Why am I taking on the city? So this is his first time in Karifi proper. His eyes are wide and sparkling, possibly literally, as his light magic is slightly coursing along his scales. Like, he's never seen anything like this before, and he's trying to comprehend what he is witnessing, basically.
I imagine maybe Turner like finds like a few like little tour guide pamphlets or whatever, and then is like just trying to go enough as much as he does remember, just kind of explaining it as they're going, and just kind of referring to the things when he needs like either needs a refresher or it's like, oh, I haven't been to this place yet, but I think I can probably figure out what was going on here.
Alex looks very overwhelmed by all of this.
It's always
Very-
no matter the background, it's always the druid. Always the druid who's like,
It's gotta be.
oh my god, what am I doing here?
There's people here.
Cashmere is a bit more at home in this place compared to the last city they were in. He's used to being in a large city, so he's just he's strolling along. Not really, without much of a care in the world. Looking around, scouting out some good spots.
Well,
Oh God. They're just gonna kind of look to Cash and say, no, there are gonna be plenty of opportunities for you to go get yourself lost in shadows. So don't make us have to put a bell on you.
Cashmere gives him like a mildly offended look, but also he has a smile on his face. You still don't have enough faith in me? I'm not gonna run away. Not too much.
Oh, I know you always,
Oh,
you,
we've
you
never-
always, I know you always come back, but
You know I'll come back.
He's a cat. He's a rabbit, not a cat.
and
Look, it's just it's exciting. You know, I've never been here. Maybe you can show me around, Turner. A little bit.
Oh, Cash, can you run away with me?
Gives Crim a baffled look.
He doesn't. Crim does not know what he just said.
Free
Crim,
the world.
Crim, I think
I
there's-
mean, he looks at Turner like,
Crim, I
did you
think
hear that?
I think there are some other books we should get for you, Crim.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, Cashmere, what's your favorite food? Mine's cantaloupe.
hey.
oh my god, that's terrible.
Carrots.
Wait, I said fruit.
Huston lets out a quiet, really?
So it's not an offensive stereotype.
I thought it was Falzone.
Oh god,
Oh.
His mouth slowly rises into a grin.
that's awful.
No, it's not carrots. I mean, carrots are good, but it's not carrots.
You
Hey.
said, Cashmere, that you're keeping an eye out for certain things. It just so happens that you arrive at lunchtime, probably growing quite hungry. And Huston's been remarking on the way in here, like, Karifi has any food you could want. Let's treat ourselves. I mean, we've been making good coin. Let's see the sights, right? Let's cheer ourselves up.
There's one place I know we have to go before we leave, but maybe not yet.
Yeah, Crim would also be keeping an eye out for any. She probably had moved locations by now, but any postage on those dragon posters and also his mother.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
No one of those posters. At least not yet. Huston asks you where you wish to go, Turner.
Here is the map.
Where is the map?
Show me that pamphlet. Oh, here is the map. Where do you wish to go?
Does he mean for like? Does he mean for like food or in general?
Well, the conversation was on food.
Well, at some point we'll have to hit the Walk of Boast, but
Awesome. If we are to find anywhere to use this resonance, it'll probably be here.
But fair warning, it might ruin anything else that you ever try to eat again.
It just so happens, looking at the map, that one of the marked points of interest for tourists, especially for the ones that are colored food, is the Walk of Bos. It's in a small neighborhood in the western part of the city, close to the lake. The neighborhood's called Heather Walk. And in the little blurb it says, family owned since 122. Food of any kind. Amazing. Austin wants to go. Do you guys want to go?
Yeah, that's
Sure,
nice.
pal, why don't we go?
I usually salt my food with Presto.
I know what this track reminds me of. It sounds like Xenoblade X and Death Note crossed over. That was the vibe of this track.
Sweet. Okay. A few more minutes walk. More than a few minutes. Wow, this city's big. And you are in the western part of Karifi, amidst a million, maybe not a million, many, many people. And you see a great big building. Enough for multiple rooms. It's really grown, but yeah, as advertised on the front, there's a placard that says, family owned since 122, founded by Dev and Glenn. Glenn being one of the, what are they called?
The Song of Bos.
Song of Bos?
Right, thank you. Song of Bos. Saviors of the world and all that. And as you enter into this hubbub of amazing smells and sights, that is where we will call it.
We made it.
It was a very mixed tonal session.
Very fun though.
Like it was a happiness sandwich. Starting very
It was.
good.
For context, for anybody watching, Glenn was also the monk character that I played in the first campaign, and of all the characters in the adventure, he definitely had the most humble epilogue of them all. A lot of them are still
Restaurants.
a lot of them some of them are still in the government doing all sorts of investigation work and stuff like that. I think Namo's character was doing some Interpol. So I won't get into too details, but and my character just was of a restaurant,
Yeah,
but it was very much in character for him.
Some of them are dead.
I won't say
I mean,
anything
it's been
about
80 years?
50.
I forget how long it's been,
50.
but hell of a time skip.
We didn't quite get to the thing that I was like, oh gosh, I'm nervous how you guys are going to react, but I think we had a pretty good
I thought that was the fight.
Nope.
I thought it was the fight too.
But anyway,
Oh my gosh.
all right,
It's rewind time.
we'll be back next week. Hope you all enjoyed.
Thank you for coming. That was very fun.
Bye.
Goodbye.
GG.